Hi, I'm Angified. I started Angified Presents.
We share the love of music.
It has been medicine and therapy. Nothing else worked.
It has saved many of us. With mental health, we need to open our eyes.
Hurt people hurt people.
We ask that you listen, comprehend, and relate with your ears.
Form that heart of unity and one.
We share on this stage.
Statistics, feelings.
And ourselves.
We stand with the belief to be you, to be heard, and to be original.
We all may be different, with opinions and beliefs.
At the end of the day, we are all brothers and sisters.
We are family.
We ask that you join us in a magical journey with artists from around the world. Open your minds. Let in the love.
And listen with your hearts.
We all want a better tomorrow. Be one.
Communicate and look out for one another. And then, and only then, will you find the world.
We will
find
peace in all the world.
You'll find the world. And you will find in this shining world. He was among us in every boy and girl. Many have been broken, red hearts turn black. Love will melt the ice and turn it back, and you will find the world. You will find the world. You will find the world. And when you find a place called home, where everyone is free to roam, a whole new world, a better place for our children's futures at stake. And you'll find with music in your soul, laughter in your hearts. Together we can grow a better place with love in our soul. And you will find together we can save it all. And you will find a place called home, where
We cover digital audio workstations and music tools. We explore theory, gear, and MIDI too. How to arrange, compose, and the art of arranging. Taking a look at AI and how the times have changed. On a PC or a Mac and even with a mobile device, we'll be talking about it all every Thursday night. From software to plugins and synths that entice. Dive deep into tech and let creativity take flight. Talkin IT. We're talking IT. Come and join in and have some fun. It's highly educational with a lot to learn. From bedroom producers to seasoned pros, we're breaking it down so knowledge grows. Whether you're a DJ or a beat making wizard, we got the tips and tricks to make your sound sizzle. Mixing and mastering, that's our jam. With the tutorials and tips on how much RAM. Get the best quality from your setup and gear. Tune in every week and lend us your ear. We're talking IT. Come and join in and have some fun. It's highly educational with a lot to learn. We're talking IT. We're talking IT. Every Thursday night on Angified.
Ooh, how the times have changed.
Oh yeah, changing all the time.
They're changing fast every week, so it's a good thing we're keeping up with it every Thursday on Angified.
That's right. Or we're gonna keep falling farther behind, and we don't want to do that.
If you fall behind now,
You're gone.
Yep. And to give you an idea of what we're going to be looking at tonight, we're going to be sticking to some of our themes. Software. We've got some interesting software news that's going to be coming. And of course, AI.
Oh, yeah.
This whole year, this is going to be a theme with us. Is it a tool or a takeover? We're going to be going into it.
Definitely.
And a little bit of equipment, some cool stuff that I found that I actually wanted to include last week, but we started our AI, segment. So I couldn't put this one off to the side. I wanted to show it. You'll see what I'm talking about.
Nice.
Here, we'll bounce over to the IT cave. No, I'm not supposed to be there.
You're over there. Yeah. And then I'll slap him.
Now I can see clearly.
Excellent.
So to get into the app news that we're going to be talking about, that we're going to start with, and this one's probably going to be a big one for you as far as news. Studio One. Last week we looked at Lander acquiring Reason, the DAW, and that was kind of big news. Cool to see Reason come back into the picture. But this one, last couple of days, the news is out, and holy shit, the amount of channels that are covering this, because apparently there's a lot more Studio One users than we thought. And Fender, the guitar company, has purchased Studio One, or at least they're taking it over. And from what I'm hearing, they're interested in making it a guitar-centric DAW, which, I mean, it's about time that like a DAW was like focused for guitars, because there's a lot of them out there. But what a hell of a choice for the DAW. This is one of the ones that I've been considering switching to since, Cakewalk became a paid product again.
Yeah.
And hearing this news, just intrigues me more.
Yeah. I mean, I've been a Studio One user for some time. I mean, I have Studio One installed. I haven't installed it on the new machine yet because I've only had the machine for a short time now. But I have, I used it a lot on my old machine, and I use it at the studio over in Pennsylvania there. But it's one of those things that I've never had a problem using guitar in it. So, I mean, I don't know why it would be specifically guitar centric or more guitar centric. I'm assuming it would be more about the interface and how,
Well,
how easy it is to find things and that kind of thing.
yeah, I think they're gonna just be like kind of like adding additional things under the hoods that benefit guitarists and
Yeah, and even including certain, certain VSTs and whatever, certain things that would just be expected or beneficial, amp modeling, whatever. I mean, there's a number of different things that they can do that they can add in, their own custom stuff into there.
yeah, and I'm sure it's still gonna have that great integration with PreSonus gear. I hope PreSonus isn't going away. They've got a bunch of gear that I really want.
Oh yeah, and that's what we use. I mean, yeah.
That's not a company that I want to see disappear for sure.
No, they build solid products. I mean, we've been using them for years, and I mean, sometimes the products are out there, 50, 100 times a year, and at gigs, in and out of a bar or a festival or whatever, and so the stuff can take a beating. I mean, of course, we treat it nicely, and it's in a road case, and we know how to handle our gear and all that kind of thing, but still, the gear has to be able to handle it as well. I mean, that's a lot of connecting and disconnecting, and people bumping into things and all that kind of thing over the years, and it's solid. It can take that stuff.
Yeah, you better treat it nice because it's not cheap.
No, for sure.
So this one's going to be coming straight from the horse's mouth. Fender Studio over on YouTube is going to let us know about this this big change. I mean, you're probably going to be switching over to it in the studio where you use it.
Yeah,
I think you're going to want to.
Yeah,
and Apple, I can't believe how much we've been talking about them. 26. They're definitely making a lot of noise, and this was the other news that I'm seeing popping up on our YouTube like every other video. If it wasn't the Studio One news, it's about this Apple Creator Studio that they just announced, and interesting that Apple is doing this now. Some people are thinking like they're going after Adobe's market here. With the approach that they're doing, and especially because it includes Final Cut, which for the video editors out there and the wannabe video editors, that's a big thing in this suite that a lot of people have been wondering what the hell's going on with Final Cut, and seems like Apple was gearing up for this announcement. And this particular one, I could have chose from a dozen different channels and videos on this, but I like this one. It's Grayson Graphics and the Creative Brief. It's a collaborated video, two YouTube channels, and they do a good job of explaining what's in it and how this could affect Adobe and people who happen to be Adobe users like me.
Yep.
If these products actually were to be available on both the Windows platform and the Mac platform, this could be a real threat to Adobe. Unfortunately, because Apple tends to focus on their side and they don't think the apps need to be available over there, I don't think Adobe's sweating yet, but there are a lot of Adobe users who are on Macs, so they may see a little bit of a migration there.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is that it comes down to, the interface and how it is, it comes down to a lot of different factors as to whether people would be interested in doing that, and whether it comes across the platform. That is a big question.
Well, and the products that they're offering to compete against the suite that Adobe has, how much of a transition you have to go through to not just the learning curve, but the file compatibility and dealing, depending on whether you're working with other people, because a lot of these
makes a big difference.
Yeah, a lot of these software suites, when it comes to this, today's video editors are also graphic editors and also doing animation, audio engineering. So everything kind of has to come together with everybody else that you're working with.
Yeah, exactly. and getting into, that's where also, getting into good habits as to how you keep your files and where, just all that kind of stuff is all so important throughout that whole process.
We've covered that a couple of times.
We keep drilling it in there because it's so important. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. And then after we look at these apps here, we're going to shift back into our AI. Is it a tool or a takeover? And this theme, all of 2026, we're going to be on this. And CES just finished up, the Consumer Electronics Show, and been hearing some really cool stuff that came out of there. And AI Revolution, a channel that we've been turned on to with all this AI talk. The coverage that we get over here is fantastic, and they covered all the days, but I wanted to include this one, which is day 3, because this day in particular, they shied away from, like, the big announcements on robots and AI platforms and all of that. And here, the things we're going to get to see are more practical uses of AI, and it ties into our whole idea of it's a tool. And some of these things are very interesting in how they apply to entertainment, to work tools for your employees, and one that we forgot to mention last week, which was medical, how AI is benefiting things on the medical side, in all sorts of unique, fresh ways.
Yeah, I mean, some of the ways we're like, looking at protein folding and figuring out how things go together, so quickly and all that kind of stuff. Like they figure out that kind of thing, but there's also so many other areas in science in general, medicine and science, that it can be applied to, whether it's the fields of material science, where you're making new materials from by assembling things in different ways than they were assembled before, that kind of thing. Having AI assist with that kind of thought process, where you kind of walk the AI down the path and say, look, we're working on this kind of a project and we're interested in these kinds of results, and see where it takes it. And again, we have to always be interested in, or be watchful for AI hallucinations, because you don't want made up stuff going into your science, because that's not good. So it's always important to check and double check.
Well, you're going to see some interesting ideas here on how it can benefit health wise, even.
Sure.
And again, we're going to go back to Apple again, because there's so much going on there, especially on the AI side. And an announcement that was made in the past week is that, their idea with Siri and all of that, they've kind of come to the conclusion that they really need to not necessarily be the innovator there, and actually utilize a more developed, powerful engine. And they're going with Gemini. And it's a big decision. It's going to have a big impact, especially on the Apple ecosphere. And I'm kind of curious as to what's their mentality behind going with Gemini. Is it just because Google is the huge behemoth that it is, or is there something actually in the AI there that appeals to them more than, say, OpenAI or these other engines that are competing right now?
Yeah.
Yep, that's what's going to be coming from 9 to 5 Mac. So it's a Mac channel, and I kind of want to hear it from that perspective.
Exactly.
And the most interesting one, just to top off the AI segment, Sebastian Jeffries gives us a tutorial on an AI engine that does a really impressive job of cloning you.
Nice.
And it doesn't take long to do. I mean, he explains it in 10 minutes, and he pretty much does it in 10 minutes. to see the results and the things that this could do for you to help put together content, especially the language translation part of it.
Yeah.
I can see some real cool use out of this.
Nice. I
Or
mean, we've
or
already.
or
Mhm.
or some possible like misuse depending on.
Yeah, there is that side of everything as well. Yeah, and we've already had you make AI of me reading Edgar Allan Poe, right? So AI can already do the voices, but now it's a question of realistic video. That's a whole nother level.
What's really impressive with this is it not only does the voice cloning, it does actually do the video lip syncing and everything else together, and um, it's pretty intuitive. The interface and what he's dealing with, I understood it all just based off the screen.
And when I'm watching like AI generated ads, for example, you can tell like if it's a real actor or if it's an AI actor, like you can still at this point. There's a lot of tells where you can see, okay,
Yeah.
it's not really a person, the way they move sometimes and things like that. But I'm always watchful for that, so I'm gonna keep an eye
I
out for that.
I think that's actually what you're going to be the most impressed with. Not only
Nice.
does it capture your voice and your image,
Mhm.
it does get your nuances. I can get it to talk like me, like this, and that's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
exactly. Talking with the hands is important.
Yeah, yeah. And then for our last two, we're going to go into gear. And this is the one that I really had lined up for last week, but given it was a AI episode last week, I couldn't find a way to get it to fit in there. And Cami Loops demos this really cool compact drum kit. It fits in a bag.
Nice.
And we've looked at on our drum nights, we've looked at other solutions for practicing drummers who want to be able to um, keep going and practicing on the road or in a hotel room and or going out on the beach where you see them using the box and
Yep.
things like that. uh this Lekato solution really cool, and you're not going to believe the price on this. It makes me want to get one.
Nice.
That efficient.
Yeah. It looks like a similar size to the little drum kit that I have here. That's just basically like a boomerang shape for the toms. Like you can see it in the back there, like up above where it says super cool. Like it almost looks like that with the arrangement, like a tom over here, a tom over there, and then you got the snare in front center.
Yeah,
But this looks like a much better snare though, for sure.
it is very versatile, very compact, and Cammy does a great job of showing what you can do with it. I agree with her. Super cool was first thing I thought when I saw it.
Nice. Very cool.
And then just to get a little bit of our gaming fix, because that's another thing that, we've been sliding in there because some of us are gamers. I'm looking at you. And the game that I think everybody's waiting for more than anything else in 2026 is GTA 6. And West Nemo, he found some good demonstrations of what we can expect in GTA 6. He got a huge leak, and we're going to get to see some of the cool things that are coming in it. It's just going to make us drool even more until they get this game out.
Nice. I've actually been playing some Need for Speed Heat, I think it's called, but it's driving around, evading police and all that kind of stuff. So it has very much of a GTA feel at certain points.
Yeah, well, we want the real GTA, and this one's been a long time in waiting. So can't wait to see what it's gonna look like. I got little snippets, but I didn't cheat. Actually, I said I'm gonna see it for the first time live.
Nice. I like it. Live reaction.
So let's start with this big news on Fender and Presonus shifting over the scepter to Fender to take over Studio One, a DAW that it might not be the premier DAW. It's not the Pro Tools that like all the professionals in the big studios tend to go to. But a lot of those big studios, especially if they are PreSonus centric with their hardware, this is their go-to.
Yeah.
And this is a big company. I mean, Fender is not like a small company here.
Exactly. And they also, when it comes to the hardware, like when you buy the hardware, they give you the license for Studio One. It comes with it. So, I mean, in a lot of cases, it's not a question of, deciding which DAW to use. It's a question of like, if you're getting this hardware, it literally comes with it. So there's, unless you have a compelling reason not to use it, you would use it.
Exactly. The reason I haven't switched to it already is I'm waiting to get one of those PreSonus MIDI surface controllers. And when I get one of those, yes, I can get that to work in Cakewalk or Reaper if I really want to, but I do want to get my hands on this, and the integration there is flawless.
Yeah. That's the idea, is that, you're basically, horse's mouth, right? Like you get the drivers like right from there. You're using the equipment that they designed with the software they designed, that kind of thing. So
Yeah, and I think the big benefit you're going to see here is I think they're going to focus more on the Mac side because they have been cross-platform, but I think you're going to see improvements over on the Mac side, and hopefully at Windows side as well. Because I mean, I don't know what's going to happen with Windows 12 and what Microsoft's doing with the audio layer there. It may be a good reason for me to want to switch to Apple for a music machine in the future. Because
it even could be Linux time.
Yes, but the thing killing me on the Linux side is the VST integration. Until VST programmers start to take the Linux platform series as a music platform, there's certain plugins that I can't give up on just because I want to get free from Microsoft. So Apple may be the alternative if something in Windows 12 doesn't improve on what they did to audio in Windows 11.
Now
I don't like what they did in Windows 11.
The fact that you do such complicated projects in terms of the number of layers and all that kind of thing, does that have an effect on your decisions as to which software you use? Because certain apps are better at, much more tracks, or it's much easier to get around in the number of tracks and using the buses and all that.
Yeah, and Reaper, I wouldn't have any issue on either platform. The beauty with Reaper is you can be Windows, Mac, and Linux. It will work on all of them. The VSTs on Linux, again, you'll be limited, but Windows and Mac with Reaper, the performance, we've looked at DAW shootouts a couple of nights, and the performances, we've looked at a couple of channels who really do stress testing on how many tracks can these things handle with certain hardware. And with the new Mac equipment that's rolling out, it was already kicking ass with the M3s and the M4s. There was a weird little bounce there in performance, but it looks like they've cleared that out too. So I've never heard anybody complain about the Studio One's performance in either platform.
Right.
And I'm sure Fender's not going to screw things up there and turn it into a hog. So we're going to get to hear from at Fender Studio. They're the ones that are behind it. You'll see if you go look at their videos right now, they're all over this and making sure to let all the Studio One owners know that Fender Studio 8 is, you're not going to lose that great DAW that you already had. Their focus and attention on it is rock solid.
Nice.
And the guitarists out there especially might be interested in seeing like a DAW finally with a guitarist mentality behind it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And we'll have to see, what that exactly looks like in those terms.
Yeah. Well, I do love Fender guitars, so I hope they give me a DAW that I really love too.
Exactly.
Let's see what this big news is all about.
Mm-hmm.
Hey everyone, Gregor here, and today marks a very important milestone in the 16-year history of our music production software, Studio One Pro. Because as of today, we are transitioning PreSonus Studio One Pro to Fender Studio Pro while keeping the version number. We're going from version 7 to version 8, so it's a major product launch, but we want to make it clear that this is a continuation of the DAW that so many of you already know and love. It's still being developed by the same team in Hamburg, so if you're already using our product, then you can look forward to the same great workflow, plus a bunch of awesome new features that you can expect from a major release. The arrangement overview in Fender Studio Pro provides a bird's eye view and a faster way to navigate an entire session, while the powerful new channel overview provides a whole new way of looking at a single mixer channel strip and accessing all of its features. Fender Studio Pro 8 also introduces the first ever Fender designed native effect plugins, Mustang Native and Rumble Native, which are massively successful in the DSP guitar amplifier world and now finally available in our software. They come with a ton of guitar pedals as well, work great for guitars, bass, as well as synthesizers. We have a brand new AI powered way to extract any kind of beat or MIDI notes from audio loops and audio samples, which is super powerful. We've also included new functionalities for Impact and Sample 1 in this update, including start and endpoint automation for Sample 1, which is something so many people have requested, visual indications for fade in and out points, and on top of that, an all new chord assistant, which is fantastic for songwriting, the new Studio Verb plugin, which is our new premium algorithmic reverb, amazing for sound design, and so much more. We're gonna cover all of that here in our playlist. But on the other hand, we also have an amazing opportunity to talk to our new users that are not into recording yet. And specifically to that new user group, I would like to give a brief overview of what Studio Pro is all about. So I just launched the Studio Pro app, and this is the loading screen that you're gonna see. Once that's done, it will take you to the central hub where all of the journeys inside of Studio Pro start. The start page. So why a start page then? Why don't you go straight to the session, for example, or why don't you go straight to a mixing template? Well, that's because in Studio Pro, we want to be a musician store, a producer store, a composer store, a mastering engineer store, a guitarist store, a keyboardist and beatmaker store. And we cannot anticipate every single workflow, but what we can do is ask you, what do you want to work on today? And then get everything else out of your way. This is really so important in keeping the entire workflow philosophy of Studio Pro lean and fun. Let me show you exactly what I mean. So here from the start page, whatever your intention is, you always should start by clicking on New, and you will find a bunch of templates right here that are customized to your specific applications. For example, Record and Mix would open up just a brand new session, and then in the fundamental philosophy of drag and drop, you can simply add your instruments and then start playing them right away from a MIDI controller. You expect this would happen? And it happens. If you're a singer-songwriter, you just want to record your guitar as fast as possible, you don't care about any of that, then of course we also have a template for you on the start page. One of my favorites in Studio Pro 8 is actually the Jam Now template. Here you can specify what kind of instrument you play, let's assume that you're a guitarist, and then you can pre-audition some jam tracks, for example this awesome reggae tune, or this energetic indie track here. And if you hear something that you like, you can simply install that with one single click and then just hit OK. And just like that, you have a perfect session completely mapped out already. You can still edit that in any way you see fit. And all you need to do to start jamming is just select your guitar input on your sound card from here, then press that big red record button and you're off to the races. Just like that, nothing else required. If you're more into electronic music, I mean, Then we have amazing templates and new features in Studio Pro 8 that you can look forward to. For example, we have an awesome new template called Launch Loops that you can open up, where you can pick a style and you can start working just like a remix DJ immediately. We try to stay as consistent as possible with this simple workflow philosophy throughout the entire software, even when things get a little bit more complicated. Here's another example for this. If I make a multi-selection of several channels like this while holding down Shift, then I could duplicate the Fender Mustang, one of the most exciting new plugins in Studio Pro, directly onto these selected channels, like so. And this even works for the entire insert chain. And it works for send effects too. Simply put, the execution is always simple, but the processing behind it is not. So that is the core philosophy that I wanted to show you in this overview. Let's go back to the start page for a moment and check out what other templates we can use. So back on the start page, we once again click on New, and let's assume that we are using Studio Pro not as a musician, but as an audio engineer. Then I could click on Master and Release, and this would take me straight to the mastering page. This is a dedicated mastering environment, and it focuses naturally on completely different things than the session page that we've seen before that. The loudness metering is very important, for example, and seeing the frequency spectrum to spot any kind of problems that would be quite disastrous if this song gets released without anybody noticing. The same principle is applied in another template, which is Rehearse and Perform. This leads you to the show page, and on the show page, all of the parameters that are not relevant for live performance are hidden to reduce stress and keep you focused on stage. The bigger point here is, no matter what you do, whether you're a content creator, you're creating podcasts, whether you're a guitarist, you're a keyboard player, you're a beat maker, you're an audio engineer, or you're a live performer, you have a home in our DAW Studio Pro, and me and the entire team could not be more excited for the future and to take you on this journey with us.
Ooh, the interface is looking really good.
Yeah, the interface is looking really good, and the features that I haven't seen before are looking excellent. I mean, like the extracting the drums like that fast, just zip, done. I mean, that's excellent.
Well, and the start screen approach that they're taking, you know, some other DAWs do that too. Not as good as that. Pro Tools would be the other one that I think has a good, like, universal kind of start screen that can appeal to different types of musicians. But I think they've gone an extra mile there to get the beat makers, get the guitarists, get the keyboardists. I like their template approach that they've got, especially if you're really wanting to go in and be a mixer and an engineer. And if you just want to jam, that's kind of cool. Their little jam option.
Yeah, I mean, all of those workflows, it does look like they spent a good bit of time wearing the hat of, you know, that person, you know, the beat maker, or, you know, the songwriter, or the person who just wants to jam. You know, they really look like they, you know, went into the feedback and, you know, asked people, what do they want to do? What do they want not to see? What do they want to see? What do they want to focus on? Because getting all the irrelevant stuff out of the way, hidden but not gone, is important. And having all the stuff that you really want right at your fingertips, that's the key.
Yeah, and I liked his hair too, Ange.
Exactly.
It doesn't show your age. You're young and hip.
Nice.
Yeah, that was a hip haircut.
Excellent.
And I do think this product is in good hands with Fender.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, just the changes from where I've seen Studio One already to see where it is now, you know, definitely cool.
Yeah, one thing I noticed, as far as the interface when you are in the like jamming mode, the way the UI is set up, it looks like it's going to be friendly transition for a lot of the different DAWs, whether you're coming from Cubase or Cakewalk or Pro Tools, especially Pro Tools, looks like and feels a lot like it in certain approaches. The effects racking and input choice and all of that looks very much standard.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that so many of them, you know, look similar enough where anybody who's familiar with one should be able to pretty easily figure out where things go in another.
Yeah. One thing I'm curious is if they're gonna continue that approach of like, how you use capture when you just want to do recording, and they had like, a nice simple approach to just, I'm in recording mode, and capture is like, you don't need to see all this other crap just to get your track in. Um, I'm wondering if they're going to continue with that mentality, or they're going to incorporate a slightly different approach here because of the way that the start page leads you in.
Yeah. And in the studio out in Pennsylvania, we pretty much always use capture and not Studio One, because we are just basically trying to get something in there or trying to work with something that we just got in there to, add to it, or, bounce ideas off it or whatever.
Yeah. And I always thought that was a nice approach for those like the musicians who are just coming in to do their parts, and you don't have to be dealing with all the overhead and
the whole effect chain and all kinds of things. Yeah absolutely.
Yeah, focus on the capture, and the name is actually perfect, because that's what recording is all about.
And in the same way that people, a lot of times, they're so focused on their effects and their sound, like, whether it's a guitar player or a singer or whoever, they're so focused on what it sounds like while they're doing their performance, and less about just getting the clean input into the DAW, and then we can work with it. I mean, if we need to add the effect, we can tweak in, dial in as much or as little as we want. But if you record it with too much on it, we can't take too much out.
Yeah,
That's the problem.
And me, I hate to be thinking of effects when you're in the middle of capturing and recording. That's not the time to be focused on unless those unique situations where like a guitarist might need to hear the effect to be able to play a certain way off of the effect. But
exactly, that kind of thing makes sense. But at the same time, you don't want to oversaturate is the idea. You don't want to oversaturate your signal in the room, and then, it sounds amazing and you're having such a great time doing it. But what we're getting as a recording session is not going to be as usable as it would be if we got you a nice clean signal, and then we're able to just boost it after the fact. And same idea, we can boost in the, in the monitors in your headphones. Like, you don't have to have it blasting through the amp. We get a nice clean signal through the amp where we get just the right signal for the sound that you're looking for, even if that amp has to be locked in a closet, a soundproof closet with a microphone in there. We can do that too, so that it's not killing everybody else in the room, because it's easy to kill the drummer's ears too. Like, you could shred your drummer just because he's sitting next to you, because you're trying to dial in just the right tone that you want. So that's why a lot of times you'll see those plexiglass barriers between, the guitar amp and the rest of the band.
Yeah, and the one I hate the most is when a singer wants to hear their effects while they're singing. They lose sight of their actual voice, their head voice. They're not hearing what they're doing. They're hearing it processed. And a lot of times you don't get the best performance out of a lot of singers, because when they demand to hear what they're going to sound like after the fact, not only is it CPU demanding and resource intensive, it doesn't make for a better performer.
No, I think it actually gets them to lean into it too much sometimes, or they hear too much of it and they try to shy away from it, where if it wasn't that way, they would just do the authentic performance, sing the way you're going to sing it. If the song is a very powerful song, sing it in a powerful way. If it's a very quiet song, sing it in a quiet way, but sing it authentically, and then add what you need to afterwards.
Yeah. And again, there are some unique situations where if your voice is supposed to sound robotic or weird, then yes, sometimes it does help to be able to hear what you're actually going to be doing there. But if you're just doing a standard, like, melody lead or backing, none of that is going to help to get a better result.
Yeah, you don't need monstrous reverb, in the room while you're listening to it, just to make the song happen. You can sing the song and appreciate the fact that it'll sound great with the reverb added after the fact.
Yeah, I mean, a smidge of reverb if the singer wants to know how the tail when they're holding. Yeah, a smidge of it, but like you don't need to be hearing the full force of it during the capturing process.
And as you mentioned, reverbs can conflict very easily, and if you get some reverbs conflicting, doing weird things, that's tough to fix also.
Oh, and I definitely don't want it baked into the track. Like
Right,
we're not cooking that into the track. I might let you monitor it, but I can turn it off and it's not getting recorded.
That's the trick, as long as they have the headphones on while they're recording. And we've even talked about that, where you sometimes there's some bleed through from the headphones, into the microphone. If it's a very sensitive microphone, or if it's really loud headphones, you can end up with, getting some of that signal getting into the mic and, messing up the signal that you're trying to work with.
Oh, I've got a couple of clients who are culprits at that.
Yeah.
Yep,
I know
so
how that goes.
that was a good news to me.
Yeah.
Reassuring. Like I was like, whoa, for a second when I first saw it. What's this going to mean? Glenn uses Studio One.
Yeah,
Is,
exactly.
is he going to be excited about it, or is he going to shy away from it?
No, I love it. Now, I was worried that with you being a keyboard guy, you might think, oh, a Fender that's going to be all guitar oriented and they're going to shy away from the keyboard side of things. But I don't think that's it at all.
No. As you saw, they are kind of, I think, eyeing Pro Tools, who also takes this kind of approach when you start up. And what kind of musician are you? It will customize the interface towards the kind of musician you are.
Yeah. And even with, the old version of Capture that we use out in the studio there, if we just fire up Capture and we say new session, it's basically like the record now thing, where it basically, here like we're using a 32 channel board. So boom, here's a project with 32 channels. They're all enabled, go, it's like you can just start like that if you want, but we usually then go through, select the channels we want to use and go from there, digital routing, all that kind of stuff. So, it's all a question of what you're trying to do for that performance. But if you do want to just get in and go, you can just go click, click and start doing stuff before you lose the idea. Because a lot of times, if you're just sitting there, we'll just get there. Somebody gets there first, right? So somebody's first and they're going to start setting up the instruments and just, noodling around, let's say. But let's say somebody else walks in, they like the sound of that. So they jump in. All of a sudden you got a whole little jam going that's organic, but nobody started recording. And, sometimes you can just grab your phone and get something on it. But with this, I can just, while we're jamming, I could take 2 bars out, go over and start it up, hit a button, hit another button, and boom, we got something recorded so that I can come back and get that nugget later without us actually losing it.
It increases workflow and efficiency.
Definitely. And it's important to be able to, within a few clicks or within a few seconds, be able to start without having to, okay, let me drag this here and let me go put this there and blah, 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 blah. You should be able to just, having a template is helpful for that, for starters, but just being able to click, okay, and go. Everybody, 1, 2, 3, here we go.
Yeah. Well, it does look like they got a nice template approach there too.
Yeah,
and the ability to make your own, like views. I utilize that over on the Cakewalk side. I have different views for different tasks, and sometimes I want to see all the tracks and the mixer and certain things, and other times I'm like in sequencing mode and I want to see the piano roll, and looks like they've taken care of that.
Yep. And I like the arranger on the top there too, so you can see where you are in the whole project. Yeah.
Yep. At Fender Studio, anybody who's playing around with Studio One or going into Studio 8, this is the channel to keep up with it.
Definitely. Seems like good news.
Yep. And now back to the Apple. You're going to be taking a lot of bites out of Apple this year, and this one's a dual collaboration on the video. Grayson's Graphics, at Grayson's Graphics, and the Creative Brief. And I like that YouTube added this, channel collaboration thing. I think it makes for better video content and collaboration, and you see more informative videos when you can see the channels that are part of them. And of all the videos that I looked at for this news, I like this video the best because it does cover all the questions I have about this Creator Studio, coming from it as an Adobe user and multiple products on the Adobe side. I really want to know, if I do end up getting that Mac to replace my music machine, these are probably going to be the apps that I'm going to be looking at. what's it going to cost? What's in the box?
What's in the box? It's always the question. I do like the collaboration aspect also, and I like the fact, especially, that it brings the audience from one channel to the other. So it helps to grow both channels, so that that's what they're doing by collaborating in the first place. But then having to decide whose channel it was going to be hosted on previously, could be tricky, or which way, which one is going to be the interviewer or interviewee, as opposed to just collaborate, do it together, and put it as a thing.
Yeah. Well, it's been working really good for the past month. We started to utilize it ourselves. So here they're going to show us the Apple Creator Studio explained, and I needed it explained. And the question that I really had, did Apple just destroy Adobe? Don't feel like it's going to destroy them. Adobe, many times there's been claims that Adobe's going down, but I feel like the only people who could take Adobe down is Adobe. No company is going to do it other than them, and they've done a great job with their products over the years. But switching to the subscription model, the cloud that they have now, there's pluses and minuses with that. And what Apple's doing here, they're just going straight towards the subscription model and the cloud at this point. And I'm curious to see if they're going to be able to handle it more elegantly than Adobe has.
Yeah, I've never been a fan of that model either, but
the subscription model in itself, I'm like, there's very few things and products that I can justify that approach. If they were to actually make good innovations every 12 months, then maybe that be the case. But typically these products, 2 to 3 years between like major revisions and worthwhile upgrades. I don't want to pay yearly without getting actual like innovative upgrades.
Yeah, for me, the place it would make sense, and again, I'm a gamer, so to me, the place it would make sense is if I'm, getting a gaming service where I have access to thousands of games, then it would make sense to just buy, to have a subscription where you can just now get to all of this stuff.
And that's a little different. That's like the Netflix mentality. If I'm subscribing for a library, then I understand. I'm subscribing for content, and obviously the content needs to be updated and offering new things. But when you're subscribing for software, for support, for major revisions, like I do understand why you buy version 2 and version 3, assuming that the features and the product has been improved.
Yep. And I mean, I remember, from our software days, or from, doing desktop support and all of that, when Adobe had, the PDF reader was always free, and we were able to install it just on everybody's machine. And then PDF writer, you had to start charging for that. And like,
we'll let you read, but you can't write.
Yeah. And then, people needed to do the writer for certain things, it's like to tabulate a printer and, to print to a file. Like, at certain times you had to use certain things for certain things. It was, I was not a fan of the fact that it was, a paid model at that point, but at the same time, I understand it's a company, it's in business. It does these things for a reason. So, these things change over time too. So
they're not in business to go broke, but I shouldn't be broke just because I'm using a product either. So it works both ways there, Apple and Adobe. I hope you're both paying attention to this.
And even with Microsoft, when they went to the Office, Office subscription service, instead of Office being, when it was a product that you had to put on a machine at work, that was one thing. When it became a subscription service, where now you're paying by machine, by year, or by month, whatever, that's, I didn't like that. But that's just me being against the subscription model.
And there are some benefits to that subscription model with Office, where you're like, hey, you got cloud storage and all of that. But at the same time, the products, Google kicked Microsoft's ass by taking, Google Docs and their whole suite to the cloud the way that they did right off the bat, and basically competing head to head with Office. Office is not a product I recommend to clients now like I used to 15 years ago.
Exactly.
And in fact, like companies that are starting out now who need that like spreadsheet, word processor, uh, PowerPoint kind of tools, I tell them, like, start with Google Docs. If you actually can justify needing the proprietary things that come with Office, then justify the cost that goes into like going that route.
Exactly.
So for the creators and the content makers out there, which there's a lot more of them nowadays, this is, a suite of products for the graphic designers, the video editors, the audio engineers. I'm just curious whether these products are going to fill at least those three categories.
Right.
Because those three categories for me have to be sufficient. I can't have a half-ass app for the audio and a decent video editor, Final Cut, decent video editor, but all the other products need to equal in productivity. Can't be downgrading on one thing.
And just like with the Studio One video we just watched, you'll have a different workflow with each of those environments that you want to work in. And we'll have to see how well they manage each of those separate workflows and how much they customize or tailor to each of those environments.
Yeah. Well, Apple users out there are probably going to be familiar with the apps they're going to talk about here, have probably used one or two of them. And now you're going to see an option where you kind of get unified support for all of them under one subscription umbrella. So good for Apple for at least consolidating in that way. And hopefully those who do use all these products separately are going to see like, wow, I'm actually getting it cheaper now.
Exactly. That's the idea. That's what we would hope.
That's the idea. we'll see in 2026 how that works.
Exactly. Let's find out.
Apple just announced Creator Studio, which is a new subscription for Final Cut, Logic, Pixelmator Pro, and more. I'm going to be telling you everything you need to know and why you might now be paying monthly for these apps. So here's some quick bullets on what this is and what you need to know, just the basics. So first of all, this is a subscription bundle from Apple, and it contains the following apps: Final Cut Pro, Logic Pro, Pixelmator Pro, Keynote, Pages, Numbers, Freeform, Motion, Compressor, and Main Stage. This officially releases January 28th, and for the pricing, you can get it for $13 a month or $130 a year, or for the education bundle, you could get it as low as $3 a month or $30 a year. This is pretty competitive pricing when you do compare it to Adobe, which that number always blows my mind. So this is a lot cheaper than that, and people are maybe hoping that this pricing and Affinity being free will kind of maybe influence Adobe to bring down their prices a little bit. We'll see. But I know at this point you probably have a burning question, which is, do I now have to pay a subscription for apps I already own? And the answer to that is kind of a yes and a no. So Apple has confirmed that the one-time purchase model is still going to be around, that you can still buy Final Cut, Logic, Pixelmator, all of these apps for just the one-time purchase and not pay the subscription model if you'd like. And you can even still buy right now the Pro Apps for Education bundle, which has all of these apps, almost all, for $199. So again, you could buy all these apps right now outright forever for $199, or you could buy the subscription for $130 a year. So now that leads to the question of why on earth would anybody pay a subscription for the rest of their life for apps you can basically just buy outright for basically the same price? And the answer to that is AI. The selling point of this subscription is that it unlocks access to AI tools. So this is very similar to what Affinity did. If you saw my video on that, basically you can get Affinity for free. It's amazing software, all for free. But if you want some of the tools, they're behind a paywall. So some stuff like upscaling or like generative fill, that type of stuff, you have to pay monthly for. So I think this is the same model that we're getting here. The practical reason behind that is that AI tools cost money every single time it runs. Every single time you press that button, it costs money. So it has to be a subscription model, and it can't be a one-time payment or a free software. This also coincidentally is like the same week where Apple and Google Gemini have announced a partnership. So what are the AI features that you would be paying monthly for? I'm going to go over just a couple of the highlights here. So in Final Cut, there's an AI search, which helps you comb through your footage. You can just search for what you're looking for. There's a montage maker, which helps you create cool montages using your best clips. In Logic, there's an AI synth player who plays along with you. There's this thing called Chord ID, which analyzes your live chords you might be playing and transcribes them. For Pixelmator, it unlocks features like super resolution. You also get Pixelmator Pro for iPad, so you only get the iPad version if you have the Apple Creator Studio subscription. I should note that there is no mention of Photomator at all, so the future of that app kind of remains unknown. In Keynote, there's features like you can generate a first draft of a presentation from a text outline, new premium templates and themes. So at the end of the day, what I'm telling you is that this new bundle, Apple Creator Studio, it's not about a subscription to get the apps. It's about a subscription to get the apps with the AI features. So you can still go buy the apps, you can still keep your apps that you have now, and I'm assuming you'll probably still get updates for them, but you won't get access to the AI tools. And I do want to clarify that Apple has not explicitly said that this is how it's going to work, but every indicator in this newsroom release leads me to believe that even if at first the one-time payment apps get the AI updates, it won't be long until that is phased out and only the Creator Studio subscriptions get the updates. The AI tools I mentioned are just a handful of the highlights. They announced a lot more, but I think the main question is what AI tools for you would be worth paying monthly for versus just the basic software that you already have now. That's sort of the big question of where Apple's Creator Studio might be worth it for you or not. Now, if you want to stay up to date with things like this and be in the know in the creative industry, you might want to check out my newsletter, The Creative Brief. You can scan this QR code right here. It's a once a month email, just one email a month, so it's not overwhelming or anything, and it goes right in your inbox, and it keeps you up to date on everything you need to know, announcements like this, announcements with Adobe, Affinity, and more. So if that type of stuff is interesting to you, I think you'd find a lot of value in this. Totally free. I made it for me, and now I want to share it with you. So check that out and let me know in the comments below what you think of Apple Creator Studio and if you think you'll be buying it on January 28th.
Oh, a creator after my own heart. And I know Ange was eyeing that green guitar.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that's exactly her color.
Yep, gotta love the green.
So, not surprising that AI integration is actually the most compelling of the reasons there.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, I mean, that's a good reason because every time you hit that button, it does cost money. It's true.
And some of these features, you see the same thing over in the Adobe products. It's the AI subscription into the cloud with the Adobe products that has the most value, where you start to get like cloud masking features that you can't just get right out of the box. They have to go to a cloud to get processed and done. And I think that might be the future for more and more software products, where if you want a smart piece of software that actually does grow in intelligence with what you do for work, you might need to have subscriptions like this.
Hmm. And at the same time, if you don't care about those features and you just want the product to be the way it was, like you can, just buy the product and not have the AI features.
Yes, nice to have both options and approaches. I hope that the companies at least consider, both sides of the aisle there. I don't mind paying for AI driven creative features if it's something that saves me a ton of time. If the masking, especially for video, that's actually where, like, with this project I've been working on, this movie,
Hmm.
masking video in real time and not having to do it frame by frame uh, is actually worth paying a little extra to have good masking that's smart and can actually process it beyond my equipment.
Yeah. And you've got some good equipment there now. I mean, you got some nice gaming rigs there that you can use for processing all that stuff.
Yeah, but when you're trying to like crop and mask minutes and minutes of video, even with the good equipment, it can be time consuming.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And that's the main thing is like, that's what the cost is at this point is the time and the energy.
And a lot of the other content that comes with that kind of subscription tends to be like access to stock footage,
Right.
stock photography. In the case of Logic there that he showed, having a virtual keyboardist that can accompany you as you're writing a song, and wow, I got a smart keyboardist that's actually playing chords or some parts behind my guitar. Um, cool,
I
but
like
at the
that. I
same,
like that. Yeah.
well, it is a cool feature, and for those who might not necessarily already have some plugins, like those kinds of features, you might be able to find through extensions, plugins, and other things, depending on. Logic has a wide universe of plugins because of the way it supports them. That not everybody's going to want to pay this way for something that they might already be doing through a plugin. But
Right.
it's nice that like those who are kind of new to it and starting out can get like some intelligent composition. Is it like GarageBand with its virtual drummers and
Yeah. That's what I was thinking about. Yeah. That, and also the songwriting part of it where it had the chord assistant kind of thing going on there where you can, start playing and it can kind of help you with what you're trying to do songwriting wise, what chords make sense when you're writing, from this chord to this chord. Reminded me a little bit of one of the other sites that we looked at some point for the songwriting where it would tell you what the next chord was most likely, like,
yeah,
songs that go from C to G, they usually go to, this chord after that.
yeah, yeah. The one that I was a little like disappointed in was the Final Cut features. Like, oh yay, the AI can search my video clip.
Yeah.
Man, I know where my shit is in my videos. And, I don't need an AI sitting there gumming things up and saying, "Oh, well." Not to say that I wouldn't use a feature like that, but that's not actually targeting the like pro editors out there and the ones who actually do have their shit together. Plus a search feature in general. All this software should have like find and search, or if there's a reason to want to search your content or look for something. uh, I don't need AI to be incorporated in to do that. If anything, that just feels intrusive.
Yeah, and as you said, overhead. I mean, as we mentioned before, I mean, every time the AI is doing something, it's
Uh,
costing something, resources, what have you.
it,
And it's
it
doing something useless in some of these cases.
yeah, it gives me the like feeling of like the same where when people are using their file explorers and they don't know where their own damn files are on their hard drive and they just depend on find to go find their files that are stored on their hard drive. Start putting your things in a consistent place and you don't need to go find it. You need to know where you put things and good work ethics and practice
Yeah.
help to avoid depending on things like that to those things slow down your workflow. They don't speed them up.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
so many people when it comes to computers have gotten so used to that approach and dependent on it that they never get into good habits because they think, oh, I can just find it this way. And your whole hard drive has to be indexed constantly in order to be able to do it fast. And um, it's gotten better, but over the last 20 years, back when before drives were indexing that way, using those search functions, you'd sit there and wait 5 minutes for it to go through your drive.
Oh, yeah. And that's where things like which one were we using for checking what was on the hard drive? Running out of space. Yeah.
Winder stats.
Thank you. Yes, Winterstat. That was a great one. I love that one.
Oh, I'm sure I still
use it.
depend on it because my 14 terabyte is full. I need to know where the hell everything that's eating up all the space.
Yep.
And
the large drive I
can
got
tell
is
you.
still mostly empty right now. So I have not yet filled that drive. So that's good.
Yes, I usually know what's eating up the space. Every once in a while, especially when you do drive C, you'll get surprises like, damn, why is this Windows subfolder eating up like 10 gigs? Surprise, temp files, stupid shit. But
Yeah, right.
on
My
my
favorite.
content, on my media drive, I know the two culprits, the Angifieds and this current project that I'm working on is eating up at least a couple of 100 gigs.
Yeah. And when you get to a big library, like, if it comes down to a music library or it comes down to a video library or it comes down to a games library, I mean, those things are just monstrous. And that's where, trying to maintain or, when you have to decide, oh, I'm running out of space, what am I going to get rid of? That's where you can take a look and be like, okay, well, this whole folder is this game. And this is like, I didn't realize this game was this big. I've only played it twice and it's huge, so
it
get rid of it.
doesn't hurt to look and see how much a game does actually take. And if you play it once or twice a year and it's eating up 125 gigs, you might want to ask yourself if you're fighting for space. If you got these new monster drives, hey, sky's the limit.
Exactly. So I've been a couple of different games lately. I've been doing a flying game, did the driving game, did the one of the shooting games, the extraction shooter games, like all different kinds of games. But still tons of space free because it's a big drive and I don't have that many games yet.
Well, and that's why it's worth at least every couple of years, I'd say 3 to 4 years, getting a new drive. The cost is worth it just to not have to worry about like your archives and games and things like that. You should be playing from a big ass drive that's external or a platter. Keep your SSD for like your work and the things that you need to be like super fast, because most of the games aren't demanding SSD level speeds.
Right.
But when I'm working on my music tracks, I want it and I want it now.
Yeah, exactly. And probably the next expansion would be getting a drive, on the motherboard, one of the ones that you just click right in there.
Yeah, I got a couple of them in my music machine.
Yep.
Oh, Grayson, awesome job there clearing up some of my questions on what's going to be useful there. I agree with him. Like right now, Apple, I think, is kind of sorting out how they're going to approach this, where the value added service is going to be. And eventually, the individual products and the licensing, they're probably going to migrate people, get the suite. You'll get more and you probably will pay less given the cost of things like Final Cut. If that's bundled in with all of this, that's one of the ones that on the Mac side, if you're video editing, that's the one you want to use.
And the
and
he
Logic
did say it was an assumption that they would continue to support or continue to give updates for the ones on the suite side, and I assume that's the case. I mean, that's I think it's a fair assumption to assume that they would continue to update the products, even when you buy the standalone products as
Yeah.
opposed to the subscription service. But I
Yeah,
didn't hear it
well, and
specifically stated.
well, updates like this on the AI side and speedier updates might, you might see a change there. Logic would be the other one of the two important ones there. Logic is a great choice if you're making music on the Mac side. That is one product that I would use if I did have a Mac, and good that like they're opening up some options there, because that would be my first choice of all of those.
And that was actually one of the early ones that I was introduced to, because that's what they use at the Mountain. They had a Mac was the main thing that they were using to record all the tracks for the whole festival, essentially for the whole week at the Mountain. And so every year for the last, it's been forever, but for the last 15 years that I've been going there, it's like it's always using Logic, so we're always messing around in there, and it's just one of those same kind of things where just name a session, enable the tracks you need, and just go, because at this point it's just live musicians on stage and going from one band to the next, and barely enough time to like stop and get the track saved and get the name of the next band that's coming up, to start the next recording and then go.
Yeah, well, Logic lives up to its name, and it is fast. It's very easy to learn and jump into. Unlike Pro Tools, which is great on the Mac, not so much on the Windows side. But at the same time, I hate their subscription model, and I would rather use Logic on the Mac than Pro Tools.
And in those early days, it was doing the aggregate devices and all that to getting everything together.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing, that if I do switch to Mac for my music machine, the ease of consolidating. I've got 4 different audio devices between all these keyboards that are separate audio devices. It'd be awesome to consolidate them in a useful way, unlike with the Windows side, consolidating sucks.
Yeah, exactly.
Supposedly that's going to get better with Windows 12, but I'm not holding my breath.
We'll have to see.
Yeah. So again, thank you, Grayson. Awesome insight there. And I'm a creative type too. I do a lot of those things. Awesome that we got some creative channels into our subscription. I will be back.
Now you say, was that the one that was the collaboration between the two channels?
Yes, and I think these are both different channels that he has for his creative outlets. At the Creative Brief, Creative Brief Press, and at Grayson's Graphics.
Cool.
So he's kind of doing like us, where we've got different branches. The Angified Presents branch, the Talkin Shhh I.T branch. It's nice to be able to have the separate channels for the different content that we do, and be able to tie them together in their partnership.
Yep, and to be able to focus a channel on a specific area.
Yeah. Well, this is what we focus on.
That's right.
And now we're going to shift to our AI segment, and I've got a little.
Tool or takeover?
The AI took over and played a clip.
How did that happen?
It's gonna happen.
Next thing you know, it's going to escape the lab.
Yeah, in 2026, we're going to be looking at it on a regular basis. I think, the last couple of years, it's been a build up, and we were in the infancy of these platforms, these engines. Now we're kind of hitting a stride. It's like when Windows hit 3.0, and it almost feels like we're getting into Windows for Work group now, because the AIs are starting to work with each other. And the next video we'll be looking at, we'll be seeing how like this AI talks to that AI, and why Apple decides to do that. But before we do that, we're going to go to AI Revolution, which is becoming my favorite AI go-to because it's just constant. Whoa, this is crazy. This is cool. Every engine they're looking at, they're discussing. It is the ultimate AI media channel for the greatest advancements in AI. And this particular one, at AI Revolution X, this one covers what came out of CES this month. And, I wish I could go. Like, that is one of the things I have wanted to be able to go to. I've never been able to get a company to foot the bill. But nice that like we have these kinds of resources where we can at least get the information that's coming out of there.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
there's some big news this year. Some years it seems kind of boring. I don't think the last couple have been boring. AI is definitely keeping this event like on its toes, and this one's covering day 3, where after the dust settled on new robots and the holographic watches and all of these things that we've been hearing rumors about. This particular day, they looked at more practical uses, things for entertainment, things for productivity, a little bit of health related stuff that, just like that heart scan monitor app that you've been seeing for the last couple of years, the commercials, like get a heart scan, off your phone. Some of these have practical applications like that for everything, including something that was interesting, dental health. Wait till
Nice.
you see this one.
Very cool.
Yeah, it impressed the hell out of me. You're definitely going to be seeing some of this stuff coming out this year.
Nice.
CES 2026. Day 3 had a very different energy compared to the first 2 days. The big humanoid robots, the industrial AI, the heavy autonomy stuff had already made their statements earlier in the week. Day 3 shifted into something more subtle. This was the day where you start seeing how AI, sensors, batteries, and weird form factors actually slip into everyday objects. Some of it felt practical. Some of it felt strange. Some of it felt like early category testing. But across the board, this was the day where CES really leaned into experimentation that could realistically ship. One of the weirdest products to get real attention was something called Lollipop Star. On the surface, it sounds like a joke. It's literally a lollipop that plays music while you eat it. But the way it works is actually interesting. The candy uses bone conduction, meaning sound vibrations travel through your teeth and jaw instead of through your ears. As you bite down, the vibrations move through your skull and your inner ear picks it up as sound. Each flavor is paired with specific music, and the companies involved even license tracks for different versions. Technically, it's simple, but it shows how bone conduction keeps creeping into unexpected places. It's cheap, it's playful, and it's very CES, but it also demonstrates how sensory tech keeps finding new surfaces. Health tech also had a strong showing, and one of the more controversial examples was the Y brush. At first glance, it's just a fast toothbrush. You bite down and it cleans all your teeth in about 20 seconds. But the real angle is breath analysis. The brush includes sensors positioned near the nasal cavity that analyze compounds in your breath. Those compounds correlate with markers related to gum disease, metabolic issues, and other health signals. The company was careful about how they framed it. This isn't diagnosis, it's pattern detection. The idea is to flag changes over time that might be worth paying attention to. From a technical standpoint, breath analysis has been around for years in labs. Seeing it integrated into a consumer toothbrush is a sign of how sensors are shrinking and becoming cheap enough to embed anywhere. Mental health and stress management showed up in a very CES way with a product called Thodian from Touchpoint Solution. These are small, clip-on devices worn on opposite sides of the body. They vibrate in alternating patterns when triggered by stress signals. The system can work standalone, but it becomes more powerful when paired with a wearable like an Apple Watch or Fitbit. If your heart rate spikes or your metrics suggest elevated stress, the devices activate automatically. The vibration pattern is based on something called bilateral alternating stimulation tactile feedback, or BLAST. This type of stimulation has been studied in therapy settings for calming the nervous system. The interesting part is how this bridges clinical techniques into consumer hardware, even if the price is still high for what looks like a simple device. Wearable biometrics continued with Ring-Con's third-generation smart ring. This one made waves because it adds blood pressure monitoring. That's rare in rings because blood pressure measurement usually requires calibration and stable positioning. Ring-Con handles this by measuring blood pressure during sleep and requiring initial calibration with a traditional cuff. From a health perspective, nighttime blood pressure trends can actually be more predictive than daytime readings. The fact that this works inside a ring form factor shows how far optical sensors and signal processing have come. Dexcom also showed updates, though not hardware this time. The company focused on software improvements to its Stello continuous glucose monitoring platform. The app redesign emphasizes AI-driven insights rather than raw data. Instead of just showing graphs, it highlights trends, patterns, and correlations with food and activity. Dexcom also leaned into integrations, especially with platforms like Aura. That layered view of glucose, sleep, and activity is becoming a recurring theme across health tech. Day 3 also leaned heavily into tools for work, creators, and productivity. One standout was Magic Screen from a startup called Intricate. This is a snap-on touchscreen layer for MacBooks. It attaches magnetically, aligns with the display, and connects via USB-C. Once attached, the Mac recognizes touch input and stylus input. You can tap, swipe, pinch, draw, and even use pressure-sensitive pen input. Latency during demos looked extremely low, almost on par with an iPad. The clever part is that the system preserves normal MacBook behavior, including sleep detection when the lid closes. It's a physical solution to something Apple has avoided for years, and it works without deep OS modification. For creators, one of the most impressive technical demos came from a partnership between OWC and a company called Strata. Their system allows remote video editing directly from files stored on a distant machine without uploading them to the cloud. The files stay on local drives, but the editor can drag them straight into a timeline and start cutting immediately. Even over poor network connections, playback and scrubbing remain smooth. This relies on a patented virtual file access system that streams only what's needed in real time. For teams working across countries, this removes massive friction from collaboration and storage costs. Display tech stayed experimental but practical. Frymic introduced a voice-controlled e-ink art frame. You tap the frame, speak a prompt, and it generates an image using AI. The display uses e-ink Spectra 6, which allows full color without constant power draw. Battery life is measured in years, not hours. The frame supports different orientations, custom physical frames, and local uploads without apps. The voice-to-art pipeline combines speech-to-text and image generation, and the result looks more like printed art than a digital screen. It's one of those products that quietly changes how people might interact with AI-generated visuals at home. IKEA also returned with an updated version of its viral Varmblixt donut lamp. The new version adds color control, dimming, and remote operation. It transitions between hues smoothly instead of snapping, which matters more than it sounds in ambient lighting. IKEA continues to do something most tech companies struggle with, embedding electronics into objects that still feel like furniture, not gadgets. Audio tech on day 3 leaned into unusual form factors. Beyerdynamic, a company known for studio gear, introduced the MMX 300 Pro gaming headset. The focus here was audio quality and durability rather than flashy features. Replaceable ear cups, replaceable rechargeable batteries, and a high-quality microphone put it closer to professional gear than typical gaming accessories. The isolation was strong enough that many people thought active noise cancellation was running even though it wasn't. Another audio product that caught attention came from TDM. These headphones look standard at first, but they physically fold and twist into a portable speaker configuration. The drivers reposition, and the housing transforms into a speaker enclosure. It's mechanically complex, but it solves a real use case for people who want one device for personal listening and shared audio. Mobility and EV-adjacent products also filled the floor. Navi showed the E-Wagon 4X, an electric-powered cart designed to haul heavy gear while you ride. It uses a 3,000-watt motor, a detachable 36-volt battery, and can carry over half a ton of payload. It's aimed at production crews, campers, and industrial use rather than casual consumers. Steering, braking, and stability were surprisingly refined for something that looks like a utility cart. Segway introduced the Mayon e-bike, a commuter-focused electric bike with integrated tracking, remote locking, and Apple Find My support. It features a rear hub motor, throttle assist, and a claimed range up to 80 miles depending on assist level. The subscription-based tracking model reflects where micromobility is heading, blending hardware sales with ongoing services. Strut showcased the EV1, a smart electric mobility chair that blends features of a wheelchair, scooter, and autonomous vehicle. It includes a full sensor suite with cameras and LiDAR for obstacle avoidance. Users can manually drive it or tap a location on a map and let it navigate autonomously. The system can also follow you while walking, which opens up interesting hybrid use cases. Payload capacity, speed, and modular transport were all designed for real-world use rather than concept demos. There was also plenty of CES-style absurdity, including rideable luggage from Jairur. It's exactly what it sounds like, a carry-on suitcase with handlebars and a motor that lets you ride it through terminals. Speed is limited, and airline restrictions remain a major issue, but the category keeps resurfacing every year, which says something about how people think about mobility in crowded spaces. Displays and projection rounded out the day. AWOL Vision demonstrated a new ultra-short-throw laser projector designed to deliver large 4K images from just inches away. The focus was on replacing a traditional TV setup with a triple laser engine aimed at high brightness and strong color performance suitable for everyday living spaces. Support for modern HDR formats was highlighted, and the unit was positioned as a self-contained home theater system rather than a bare projector, emphasizing integrated speakers and simplified setup over external components. Micro RGB TVs also continued to pop up across booths. This panel technology uses self-emissive red, green, and blue LEDs instead of backlights or color filters. The result is higher brightness, better color accuracy, and improved efficiency. Samsung, LG, and Hisense all pushed this hard, signaling that micro RGB is moving closer to mainstream adoption. Gaming AI stayed mostly software-focused on day 3. NVIDIA demonstrated AI-powered teammates in PUBG that respond to voice commands, share tactical information, and act autonomously within the game world. The system combines speech recognition, natural language understanding, and in-game decision logic. NVIDIA also showed AI tutorial assistance inside strategy games like Total War, where the system reads the game state and explains mechanics dynamically. By the time day 3 wrapped up, CES felt less like a spectacle and more like a lab. This was the day where categories blurred. Toys had sensors, furniture had AI, health devices lived inside toothbrushes and rings. Work tools quietly removed friction instead of demanding attention. None of this screamed for applause, but a lot of it felt like tech that could realistically show up in people's lives over the next year. That's the real takeaway from day 3. If you made it this far, let me know which of these stood out to you the most. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.
Hell yeah, I'll applaud and scream at the same time.
Rideable luggage. Nice.
The one that like really perked my interest, that remote video editing.
Of course. The second I heard it, I was like, that's you.
But you know, I've been like, I've been looking for it, asking for it for years now, but like the last like year and a half with like these projects that we've been doing, the big ones, movie editing especially, where it would be awesome to be able to get like multi-collab, like almost like band lab style, like working in the studio at the same time off of the same files. I'm really curious as to their proprietary approach there, what they're doing. I'm gonna be looking into that for sure.
Yeah, it reminded me of when we were talking at first about the gaming PCs that are, you know, that you access online. You know, you access the gaming
shadow PCs, cloud gaming. Yeah,
exactly. Same idea, but like, you know, just using a machine, a video editing machine somewhere online that you're just connecting to and using it and all it has to send you is what you're watching on the screen, essentially. So it doesn't have to send the whole file here, or and then render. It can do everything
Well,
there.
and up till now, that would have been the approach if you wanted to have a shared video editing experience where multiple editors would access one, like say, cloud machine at the same time
Right.
and work on the material from that cloud machine.
Yep.
What they're talking about here, though, is like somebody could actually be editing the files that are on my media drive where I've got all the content. And if it can live up to its claims of like, real time scrubbing and clipping and rearranging, man, that's going to be a powerful service.
Yeah. And as you said, it's all about, it's all about how when the rubber hits the road, right? So it's about how it works out when you're actually doing the edits across a connection, and see how it looks.
Yeah, I gotta test it, but I love that like somebody's actually trying to find a solution for something that needs one.
Yeah, they've been thinking about the problem at least. Yeah.
Yeah. And like we mentioned after we were done with last week's episode, like, we should have mentioned the medical implementations that are coming from AI, which in some cases are really tools and impressive.
Yeah.
It was cool to see that, like, there's a couple of different companies that are approaching something as simple as a better toothbrush and analyzing things that, like, most people might not think about, but if your device helps you to get better health, and especially with the mouth, that's one of the places that a lot of problems can start. So I'd get one of those.
Absolutely. And the ring, especially, like the being able to miniaturize to that level and be able to detect blood pressure, from a ring while you're sleeping. That's pretty cool.
And that they're utilizing that sleep time to do the kind of calibration there. And this is where it's not just getting the AI smarter. The people doing the development with the AI are getting smarter about thinking of how to build with it in these ways.
Exactly. And even the art frame was kind of cool too. Like, you could just like tap the frame and be like, give me an impressionist bright colors, whatever. Like you just make something up and just have it, bam, new art on the wall.
Well, and they've been trying to get better picture frames and LCD based pictures on the walls. They've been doing that for a long time now, but to incorporate like something like this really does make something like that more useful.
Absolutely. And it's not just limited to a library that you have to keep uploading images to and keep going through the same 12 images or whatever. This way it can be, new all the time.
What did you think of that lollipop with the bone conducting?
That's neat. I like the bone conducting idea for sound. It's not, I mean, you don't get thumping bass, obviously, because it's not going to sit there and hammer your bones, to get you some thumping bass. But you can get the sound through that way, and it is one of those things where, but I especially like the speakers that turn the headphones, like you were saying.
Yes, yeah, that was another one. I was like, okay, two purposes in one. I like that.
And even if the purpose was just to be able to compact them down, to be able to put them away, like,
Useful.
That's already better than sometimes you get your fingers get pinched or whatever on the ones that have hinges and all that. So when you're trying to fold them up and put them away and all that, so it is nice that they collapse down like that.
I'm thinking, the people who are on the go all the time, and you got your laptop and your laptop bag, and you want to be able to bring good headphones, but I wouldn't want to lug these in my laptop bag. Eventually, they're going to break.
Exactly. So you just wear them all the time.
Yeah.
I forget I have these on. I wear them so much. So like, I'll sit there and sometimes I'll scare myself, like, be doing something quiet time in the house, or whatever, and then start a video and like you hit it and be like looking around for the headphones, and I'm hearing it already. It's like, whoa, oh yeah, there they are.
They're stuck to my head.
They're still there.
Yeah. The other category, as far as like getting around, and e-bikes have come a long way, and utilizing AI in something like that, it does make sense, like for power efficiency, for guidance. Oh, somebody stole my bike. Like I know exactly where it is. Smart like cargo carrying. I would love if I had to deal with the airport having my luggage actually follow me and not having to lug it.
Yeah, that was one where the technology that they had with that wheelchair that was basically following behind.
Yeah.
Like, use that technology for the traveling suitcase. My big thought on the rideable luggage. I mean, love the idea, but to me,
The
yeah,
kids loved
they
it.
loved it. But the idea is something with a battery like that and then putting it on a plane. I mean, I get that that's problematic.
Yeah.
So to me, that's where I think it's called the Verge motorcycle, the one that just came out. It's basically using these new solid state batteries, donut batteries they're called, but basically they look like a fat cell phone. But 3 of these batteries can run an electric motorcycle. So it's like these, and they're solid state, so there's no
They're
chance of
not
thermal
heavy.
runaway. They're not heavy. They
Yep.
could be good for aviation. They could be good for drones. There's like all kinds of things if the batteries live up to the hype. Because this is something where I just saw the reviews come out, and I've seen some other thumbnails that are like, hey, I don't know, I'm not convinced about these. Or I'm not sure if they're um, completely tested technology at this point. I think they are. I think they're actually shipping these motorcycles at some point soon. So I think that it's done at that point. But there are people that are skeptical because of the claims that they see. We'll have to see how they work out. But if these are half of what they claim to be, it's going to be big difference for, again, drones, motorcycles, aviation, all that kind of stuff. When you get the solid state batteries that are that light and that power dense, we can start doing some of that stuff.
And that was the one thing I was surprised that I didn't see anything on was drones. I'm sure there were some examples there on one of the days, but with AI the way it is now, one thing I can see coming is selfie drones,
Sure.
where people are going to start getting drones that just circle around them, calibrated to their phone, to something on their body, and that drone will just hover around them and follow them like a little cameraman.
Yeah, and not only that, but I mean, you can give it, hand gesture signals, because like you could
Yeah.
already, if you had your phone and you're taking a picture of yourself, you could already, put your hand up and have your phone know to take a picture from
Oh,
that. So
yeah, and then we're talking close vicinity, voice commands.
Yeah.
Like this could be tomorrow's cameraman for, some news reporter who has to go out on site and doesn't need to lug a cameraman anymore because selfie drones have to be coming. There has to be some company out there that's gonna fill that market.
What's funny is that when it comes to, almost any application at this point, somebody says, oh, well, here's an application in your a test case or whatever, something that we want to fix or a solution we need. And then somebody goes, hey, AI, it'll fix it. It comes to drones and somebody going, drones, AI, like, oh, no. Let's not do that.
Well,
I saw that movie. No.
It's funny how like these technologies, they start off with reluctance and fear and how we've assimilated and conditioned into like, damn, some of this is cool. Okay, I'm gonna allow this much AI and this much droning, and as long as it doesn't turn into Terminator, then
That's the
I'm
problem.
cool.
That's the problem, is that if it gets anywhere near the line of being able to get to being Terminator, it becomes Terminator just because it can. That's what we don't want to see.
Well, and that's where responsible AI use is going to be important. And like these discussions we're going to have this year, tool or takeover, those companies, the whole industry, shit, even our government at this point, they're all talking about like, how do we do this responsibly? How do we not kill entire job industries? How do we not have kids who become so dependent on it that they don't learn to think for themselves? This is a discussion
Now
we
that's
can't ignore anymore.
that's one place where on the education side, like I saw the AI more as being able to AI customize your learning experience to the student, like rather like having the AI learn which ways you learn best, right? Like it can give you quizzes and find out, when you do things visually, it's one thing. When you do things auditory, it's different. Like when you're hearing things, it's different when you're seeing them, and find out what your best method of learning is, and then tailor its lessons to you in that way. So it's
And
working
it
with
does
you.
it does variate with each kid. Like every kid is a little different, and I like the idea of AI teaching a child more so than telling, here's the answer. The same reason a calculator doesn't help a kid to learn how to calculate, it just does it for them. I don't want an AI to do that either. I want an AI that, if you're going to introduce that to kids as a teaching tool, it should teach and encourage them to seek the answers themselves, learn how to search properly and what they're trying to solve rather than solve it for them.
Yeah. And when you wanted to really, if there's information that you really wanted to learn, you would want to hear it, you would want to write it, you would want to say it. Like you want to incorporate all these different mechanisms into your remembering of this information. Like the act of writing it out is different memory parts that you're activating than when you're hearing it. And you'll activate different memory when you're saying it. So, like each of these things will put it in a different place in your memory, but they're all accessible and they're all interrelated. So that's where things like, again, finding which way you learn best and then trying to tailor lessons in that way, but also presenting information in multiple ways, whether it's visual and auditory, or whether it's, presenting multiple examples. Like maybe somebody responds better to sports analogies than they do to science analogies.
Sometimes it's actual just muscle memory. Like you got to do it until the brain like gets stronger.
And that's where basically turning video games into an educational tool, where you try to
Yes.
turn the games into something educational, or turn educational material into something that's fun, that makes people want to repeat it, because the repetition, as you say, is that important to
Yeah,
getting
and
the material in.
there are a whole bunch of people who are seeing, like, the gaming approach, and kids, like, they glom to gaming in a very natural way, and they're looking for ways to turn that into an educational experience for them, and they find that, like, kids can learn faster, and actually their knowledge
Retention.
retention, yeah, is actually greater when it's done properly.
Yeah. And even something like, you remember Rocksmith, the
Oh
game
yeah.
where, I have 2 copies of it. I had it for the PlayStation and I had it for the computer. Something like that approach was amazing as well. Like, like fighting aliens by, hitting a chord shape in time. Like,
Yeah.
play an A chord. Oh,
There's a lot of potential in music education to utilize these approaches and get, young kids actually pumped up to want to make music, because the counter right now, um, I've been saying, like, these 11, 12-year-olds who want to become musicians or aspiring songwriters right now might be like, why should I bother? Suno can make me a song. And um, the deterrence there is gonna, like, we're gonna have a generation right now who needs some kind of incentive to want to um, get into music and actually possibly write it, create it. Don't just depend on everything being done by AI. There might be a lot of songs that get written by it in the future, but it shouldn't be that way. There should still be a human factor there. So we've got to find some approaches to balance this out a little more.
Yeah. Well, just like you're with image generation and video generation, like the fact that you could now just, speak a prompt to an AI and have it generate images for you, people will be saying, well, why should I learn how to draw anything anymore?
It is deterring, visual artists, photographers. I mean, hell, I kind of got out of photography in the 90s when I started using Photoshop. And at the time, I was interested in, like, getting lightning pictures and sunsets and special effects things. And then I learned how to, like, make lightning in Photoshop. And I was like, damn, why am I going to go out there and possibly get hit by lightning when I can generate it in a safe environment? It kind of turned me off at that point. But thank God, like kids after me, and there's still some photographers out there. There's still some who do it the natural way because it's fun. It's interesting to be able to do it, even if you can have a computer do it for you.
And photography went through that same transition that happened in the audio world, where everybody who had the old analog gear, when it came time to go digital, do they want to make that switch, or do they want to stay with everything they had? Same thing with photography. When everybody who had the film photography gear and then everything went digital, it was like, oh, well, what about all this stuff that I've had, for all these years? Like all of it, I don't need a dark room anymore, and this and that and the other thing. So it's like, it's a whole shift to get to the digital.
I did not switch to digital photography overnight. I didn't switch to digital recording of audio overnight. Like it took about a decade actually on the photography side. Photo labs started to get harder and harder to find. The costs started to go up. Instant gratification. I took the picture, boom, I see the picture. Those things eventually swayed me over, and eventually swayed the entire population, getting the cameras into the phones and everything else.
And those early cameras were terrible too. I mean, screen resolution. I mean, everything was so pixelated.
I paid $1,000 for a Kodak 1 megapixel, which was actually 800. It wasn't a full megapixel. It was some bullshit interpolated. Paid $1,000 for it, 1996.
Exactly. I had a Kodak Easy Share at some point. One of those digital cameras, but. Yeah, one of those things where I didn't get serious into photography. Like my dad had the serious lenses and all that from the old days, like from the real photography back then. And I never got that into it, but I do have all that equipment still sitting around somewhere. I just have to dig it all up.
Yeah. Well, that was a passion and a love of mine back then. And going digital, I eventually did, but at that point, I was no longer doing it as a career. I wasn't a wedding photographer anymore. Portrait studios were going out of business because everybody was just snapping them themselves and then printing them on their printers, and the industry took a drastic change, just like we saw in the audio industry when digital audio came in.
It's a change. It didn't kill the industry. It changed the industry. Things were there's still music being made. There's still pictures being taken. It's just done in a different way, and the processing is different.
The ones who do it creatively continue to do it. They've changed how they do it, especially the ones who grow up in the modern age. The kids who have grown up with digital photography and with AI, and they're the ones who approach it in a unique way, because we had to convert from like caveman days.
Yep, exactly.
It's an interesting future we're going into. And at AI Revolution X, if you're interested in what's going on with AI, which this year we are going to be totally going down this rabbit hole. This channel is a great one to keep up with. He's living up to the ultimate AI media channel name. It's the one I'm checking daily.
Nice.
Love the CES coverage. Wish I could go, but I'm so glad that at least we can find out some of this stuff this way.
Now, I'm sure they had it probably at the, in the big robot part of the day, but like there was something that I saw just recently was about like robot horses. Essentially, it's like a replacement for a motorcycle, but it's a four-legged robot that you ride essentially.
Well, I've got a couple of we're gonna have to do a robot night at one point, and everything's getting replaced by robots.
Not everything, but most things.
Almost everything. Well, and Siri apparently is getting replaced. Who would have thunk it? But Apple, this reminds me of, you remember when Apple brought in Microsoft's software into the Apple ecosphere, and Steve Jobs had a video call on stage to all the Mac users and brought Bill Gates up on the screen to announce that Microsoft products were now coming to Apple. And I think back to that, and fast forward to today, and the kind of announcement that this actually means for them to like decide, okay, we really aren't going to be the innovators here. Siri was an interesting idea, just like Alexa, and running your operating system with an AI driven brain. I think they just cried uncle with their decision to utilize Gemini to be the engine behind it. At 9 to 5 Mac. So this is a Mac channel, and he covers the Apple products. So I almost used his Creator Studio. I actually found him because when I was looking for the Creator Studio stuff, but this video is the one that caught my eye, and it was like, this is a good compliment to the CES stuff, because this is big news. For Apple to just decide Google Gemini is going to, power their back end here, I could see some possible monopoly discussions, and some people complain that this kind of merger in technology could be questionable. I don't think that's going to happen, but we are talking about two big hitters here in the AI development world coming together like this. I mean, Google is already monstrously huge, and to incorporate the Apple technology the way Apple incorporates AI into its technology, Microsoft really might need to take a second thought on how they're approaching it.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Again, it's one of those things where it'd be one thing. The monopoly concerns would be more if they were trying to merge, like literally both companies becoming one company, Apple and Google becoming one. That would be one thing. But, for Apple technology to utilize Gemini, that's a little bit different.
Yeah. Well, that's why I don't see it necessarily ever making it to a court. But when you consider the AI platforms and brains merging, that's another form of merger that we've never thought about before, because we've never been in this situation where AI engines are starting to become one.
Well, let's see what they say.
Yeah. Please don't scare me.
Well, everyone, as you can see from the title of this video, Apple has done the unthinkable. They're partnering up with Google. Let's talk about it. But now, if you enjoy videos like this one, where we keep you up to date on all things Apple, consider subscribing to the channel and help us get to 1 million subscribers by the end of the year. But now let's talk about this partnership and what it means for us as Apple users. So quickly first, let's talk about what's causing all this. If you guys remember, probably a year or two ago when Apple started to introduce Apple Intelligence, they started to promise a bunch of different things in terms of what Apple Intelligence will be able to do, especially when compared to the competition, like the ChatGPTs, like the Geminis of the world, and everything in between. And for all intents and purposes, since then, in my opinion, and from a lot of other people's opinions, the Apple Intelligence kind of transition has been kind of a failure. Maybe not from a practice standpoint in terms of what it can do, because sometimes I do see myself using things that involve Apple Intelligence, but it's not in the traditional chatbot way that we're going to use in terms of AI agents like the ChatGPTs, the Perplexities, and everything in between. But what the biggest failure was the messaging behind Apple Intelligence and how to get the average consumer to use it and know that they're using it and know how they're using it correctly. And that's where I think this partnership between Apple and Google has begun to build and now officially is being done, and it's because Apple is kind of confused in terms of how they want to market this, how they want to introduce this, and how they want to get people to use their Apple Intelligence features and use them usefully. So let's talk about what was actually announced between Apple and Google. So they are entering a multi-year partnership that's going to bring Gemini and use it as a foundation model for Apple Intelligence and Siri moving forward. And then as of right now, Apple nor Google has disclosed anything aside from the fact that it's a multi-year deal. There are some kind of inferences and some estimations that this is going to be a $1 billion per year deal that Apple's going to be paying Google, but we don't know how long that deal is going to be for, just know that it's a multi-year deal. Now, why did Apple choose Google Gemini versus the rest of the competition? Because originally with Apple Intelligence, when they started to debut it, they talked about a ChatGPT integration where if Apple couldn't figure out whatever you were asking internally and on device, they would then send you out to ChatGPT directly from Siri and from the UI that Siri gives you. And that's been working for about 2 years now at this point. But again, the separation is too drastic in my opinion. There's still too much friction, too many pain points to go from directly in Siri to then move over to ChatGPT. Now, I am a big ChatGPT user. I personally use it all the time. I use it every single day to the point where I've replaced my Siri voice assistant with the ChatGPT voice assistant with the action button. So whenever I hold the action button down, it brings up my ChatGPT assistant, and I use it again as an assistant to help me with a bunch of different things, from personal finance to things around the house to medical questions and everything in between. But Apple's come to the conclusion that Google and Gemini has the most capable foundation to move forward with and attach Siri to it moving forward. And some of the key reasons is because Google Gemini has a rapid iteration pace, Google's Cloud's massive AI infrastructure that's already been built, and they've been around and proven for years now at this point. I mean, think about it. Google has owned the internet for the past 25 years. So they have been able to prove that they can do this at scale, and they can do this with a consumer-facing product first. Now, how is this going to technically work? Because this is going to be the important part moving forward with this partnership between Google and Apple, because we don't want another situation where maybe Apple can't do it on device and they send us off to ChatGPT or they send us off to Gemini. They're going to replace the foundation of what Siri's built under, and they're going to be using Google Gemini as that foundation. But the important thing in here is that your privacy is still going to be of the utmost importance when it comes to Apple and what you're doing on device. So Apple's still going to control all the on-device AI, all the private cloud computing, as well as the user front-end experience. Everything is going to be on the up and up in terms of what you can do. But again, the way that Siri is going to function moving forward is going to be with Gemini as a foundation, and hopefully they scrap everything else that they've done with Siri dating all the way back to, I believe, iOS 4, which is when Apple first introduced their version of Siri. I could be wrong, fact check me on that. It could be like iOS 5, 6, or 7, but I think that's what I remember. So the idea here is that we're not going to get a ported version of Gemini over onto iOS, is that it's going to be a Gemini customized for Apple, and it's going to run inside of Apple's infrastructure versus, again, going somewhere else and leaving your phone. So then, speaking of ChatGPT, what happens to that partnership? What happens to that functionality as it stands right now? Because if you do use your iPhone, you use Siri, you're using iOS 26, and there's an answer that cannot be answered by on-device Siri, you're still getting booted out to ChatGPT, or at least booted out still inside of the Siri kind of user interface. But Apple is stating that nothing's going to change for now when it comes to ChatGPT integrations. It still remains available for all the world knowledge, as well as some more advanced reasoning queries. So if you are asking multiple things at once, it'll still work alongside ChatGPT. But there could be a possible future where they work in tandem, and Apple remains kind of AI platform agnostic, meaning that depending on what situation you're in and what needs to be known and what needs to be done and found out, it'll rotate between ChatGPT and Gemini moving forward. But I'm just hoping that the experience is cleaner versus what we have right now, which is very broken and very friction-full. So at the end of the day here, the $1 billion question is, who's winning, who's losing, and is there even a winner and loser? So Apple's gonna win here by shipping a much better and faster AI experience to begin with. Again, Apple, in my opinion, like I said in the very beginning, has failed so far with Apple Intelligence and what they promised, what they overpromised, and how deeply underdelivered they've been when it comes to what Apple Intelligence can actually do. And then of course Google's gonna win here now because they're powering the Apple Intelligence and the AI for the world's most valuable hardware ecosystem, especially here in the US. Everybody has iPhones. There's a large percentage of people have iPhones, and even if you get to the younger demographic, 80 to 90% of people in high school have iPhones, so now porting over Google Gemini into there just means more eyeballs, more data, more people involved, and just means more for Google to kind of take in. So again, Google's gonna win even more so by, at the end of the day, being able to collect more user data. And if it's not individual user data, it's going to be user trend data, so they're able to then figure out what they're doing moving forward, because again, Apple's really going to push privacy and focus on making sure that, hey, your data is still your data, but I'm sure Google in the back end will be able to collect at least trend data to be able to make multiple points and then fix their Google Gemini as they see fit. And I'm personally kind of okay with that as long as it means that we get a better Siri for the end consumer, because Apple's been years behind of Google, even when it came before AI was a thing, and just the Google Assistant was always light years better than what Apple could do with Siri. So hopefully now this integration is going to help out just to give us a better user experience overall and make Siri useful past just asking for the weather and asking for a new timer to be set. So my final thoughts with this is that this is still Apple being Apple, right? Apple's always slow to the game when it comes to any updates, when it comes to hardware, and even when it comes to software. I mean, look how long it took them to take USB-C into consideration, 120 Hz Pro Motion, all the different customizations that you can do now on iOS were things that you can do on a Google device a decade ago. But now Apple has slowly kind of mastered it, in my opinion, and that's what they've been doing. I mean, they're going to release a folding phone this year, and folding phones have been out for now 7 years and 7 different iterations on the Samsung side. So in classic Apple fashion, they weren't first, but in my opinion, they had the opportunity to be the best. So let me know in the comment down below what you think. Apple seems to be going through a lot of transitionary things right now. The Apple Card announcement happened earlier this week, moving over to Chase. Now this with Google Gemini and Apple integrating together. Apple's now coming out with folding phones, hopefully at the end of the year. So there's a lot going on with Apple, and I'm just curious to know what you guys think. Is this too much going on? Has Apple kind of lost its way? Is this all good in terms of the end user getting the best of the best when it comes to all the different pieces of hardware and software? Let's have a discussion down in the comments down below to see what you think about everything that's going on. I, for one, am still a believer in Apple, and I think this is going to end up being a net positive for the end user, but I can see how people think this is the writing on the wall, where the lack of innovation recently, is making Apple take a downturn. But that's to each their own. If you guys did make it to the end, leave a little dolphin. If you guys want to watch more videos like this one, check out one of these videos right here. And until next time, I'm Fernando. Peace, everyone. I'm excited to see what they got going on here.
Oh, I gotta find my dolphin, Fernando.
It's in there somewhere.
I'm gonna leave one.
Nice.
And
Always good.
He does have a little bit of that Ashton Kutcher look.
A little bit.
He could be the next Steve Jobs.
Nice. There you go.
Perfect guy to cover Apple.
Absolutely. And like you said, it's almost, about Apple losing their way kind of at the end there. You kind of see it as, fingers in too many pies, or trying to diversify too much, or are they trying to just, incorporate what they're learning from what's around them?
It's possible it's a little bit of column A and a little bit of column B there. Apple, there's times where like they are the innovators. They're the ones who do it first. Like the iPhone is a good example of game changer, and everything started copying them at that point. The iMac is the other side of that. The Mac OS is the other side of that. They let the PC world develop, stumble, fall, and get back up, and then came in with a somewhat superior product at that point. It took them a long time to get the market share. Even now on the computer side, they're still fighting to get the same kind of market share there. But on the mobile side, like he said, they're kicking Android's ass in a lot of departments. And that's kind of what makes this partnership even more interesting, because we're talking about the company behind Android being the back end to the Siri and what they're trying to do with their AI.
And it could just be, again, of them not wanting to reinvent the wheel and not wanting to, waste the internal resources to recreate what Gemini's already doing that well.
Being smart enough to realize when you have to pull back. And there's no reason why, like, these two as competitors there on the mobile side couldn't work or shouldn't work together. I wish that Windows and Mac OS had been more cooperative with each other, and we didn't have to spend 30 years of like different file sharing and different interface approaches, and just get to the standards that we need to get to.
Yeah, and standards, that's the key. I mean, as an industry, they really should have decided on standards back then, like
Yeah.
whether it was one or the other, or whether they both come together to a mutual, middle, neutral ground format. Finding somewhere to park everything would have been better.
They should do that for the consumers, for us. I understand why these companies do make their decisions. It is about making money, and in some cases, it is competition. But there is a benefit to actually making things that better mankind, and standards better mankind.
Yep. Even just looking at things like MIDI standards, I mean, that's one of those things, where that kind of stuff came out and was standardized for a reason.
We were wild band. Yes, as long as they got 70% of the market, they are still in charge.
Yeah, makes
That
sense.
the iPhone and the iPad market, I still consider it a niche, but considering like 70-30 nowadays is a lot different than if we were talking about the 90s where like Windows just completely dominated Mac OS. They were lucky to see 2-3% of the actual market there.
Yeah. Like you said, we saw Macs in the workplace, but very rarely compared to, the PCs that we dealt with just all the time.
No, and it's come a long way. And um, on the iPhone side, there's no denying that it, Blackberries were like the end of that era of like what's next. Smartphones. It really did kind of start there with the iPhone and everything that we're seeing, even these Androids that are getting 70% of the market couldn't have wouldn't have benefited if there wasn't somebody who started that fad.
And again, it's not always about, sometimes it's good to be the first mover, but sometimes it is good to learn the lessons learned by watching the first mover stumble. Like,
Yeah.
they came out first, see what they do with it a couple of years, let them go through some of those development cycles and
Honestly,
then jump.
I'd rather be the one who innovates post there because it's expensive to be the one to come out the gates with new technology. Sometimes those companies disappear eventually because they can't handle the upfront costs and the returns don't come back right away. And
And with iPhones and iPads, I mean, the supply chain stuff that we've talked about, I mean, that's one of those things where if they hadn't managed to lock in all that supply chain stuff back then, like they wouldn't have been able to, churn out to cover the demand because the demand was ridiculous at that point. So
yeah, and again, he's not wrong here. The iPad side of it, I've got an iPhone 8, and everybody upstairs is on the latest iPhones. I'm not an iPhone guy. I have that because I do need to test things, and an iPad is something that like I wouldn't kick it out of bed if somebody wants to get me one. There's a lot of usefulness there, especially as a music machine. What I see with Cole, what he does with his iPad, he can actually play kick-ass drums with it, and um, some of the mobile music apps, Logic and Cubasis, actually turn that tablet into a pretty damn good recording studio.
Well, even GarageBand back, on the pad that I had years and years ago, GarageBand on there, your smart keyboard mode and being able to go into the strumming that you could do on the guitar. Like you put a stringed instrument in front of you and you can just, if you know how to play guitar, you can just tap on those frets and you can play scales. You can do all kinds of stuff. You can bend strings. I mean, it really was a very intuitive interface and very well implemented.
Yeah, the other thing I would say from Wild's statement here, on the Android side, their touchscreen technology and their response there is part of the reason why like Apple has always had a great advantage. Stylus drawing, people who want to draw with a stylus or actually do want to tap and play instruments with response that I've yet to see any Android device keep up in a useful way.
Yeah. And it was just very intuitive to use like from the start. So I mean, well put together, and didn't notice any kind of lag or anything with the using the interface.
Oh, Kevin Diesel,
Mhm.
welcome. Yeah, how smart do you want your Harmony X? Is she
Nice.
one of the GarageBand personalities?
We had a few different ones with the different styles and the drummers.
And he's not wrong there. You can get louder audio, but they actually do cap how loud you can go with it. That was one of the annoying things when it came to the Apple devices, was I couldn't crank it louder than it would let me.
Yep. It
And I
knows.
wanted it. I wanted it louder, but they said for the safety of your ears,
Yep.
we're going to decide how loud it can be.
You must be this quiet to be on this ride. No louder.
Yeah, see, we're getting some good response in this. You guys have some thoughts on this Apple Android mobile thing, huh?
Now, to be fair, I am an Android guy, but we do like my family. My sister and my mom, they have iPhones, so everybody's iPhones, and it's just me and my nephew are the Android guys in the house.
Yeah, yeah. The one thing I would say, when I was a developer and a programmer and making mobile apps and things like that, it sucked to make them for iOS. The whole Apple Store approach, the having to pay to be an Apple developer and be able to get your apps out there. Every client that I had that wanted to put something on iOS, Android, it was so easy, straightforward. You could test quick and put together an app fast. But if you wanted to put it on the iOS side, not only did it take time, you weren't guaranteed they were even going to let you put it into their store, which is kind of like, man, I, I, the closed system on the Apple side has always been a buzzkill for me. I don't like the companies acting like they dictate what I can do on a device. I had to jailbreak my iPhone so I could actually use it as a modem. In the
Yep.
early 2000, the late 2000s, when they were just starting to be able to, you could connect to it wirelessly and get an internet connection from your phone.
Tethering, yeah.
Yeah, the only way I could tether on my iPhone was to jailbreak it. So, like, here I am with the Android, can do it like that. It's practically built in, and obviously it works on the iOS, but I have to jailbreak it because the manufacturer doesn't want me doing that. No.
See, what I did was I had the Android phone, and I have a hotspot in the Android phone, and then I had the iPad with no cell service in the iPad, just Wi-Fi. But the iPad could connect to the spot through the phone, so I would connect my iPad to the store through the Android phone. So best of both worlds. I could do everything I wanted to from the Android in the Android, and do everything I wanted to on Apple through the iPad. So that
Yeah,
was the best solution in for me, at least.
yeah, and Wild also versatile. I'm like you. I would run. I'd have both, and I would do things for different devices depending on what I'm doing. And as a developer, when I was doing a lot of developing, you have to be able to test your things in the environment. So the company bought me a MacBook because they wanted our product to run on Mac and Windows. And it's like, hey, you want me to test this? Then you better get me a MacBook. And same reason I got my first iPhone. I needed to build apps for it that they needed to have tested. So somebody's got to pay for that muffler. It's
Yep.
not going to be me, though.
Yep.
Like, if I have to choose, I'm going to buy the more cost efficient product that I'm more likely to use. So, why I'm a Windows guy, why I have 7 Android phones and 2 Apple phones.
Yep. And the only Mac I ever had at the office was when I had to support people who had Macs. Like it was one of those big, the ones from the marketing department. They had like the big monster screen, iMacs, and so like one of the ones that they had gotten the new ones because they were always that department also specifically would always have the newest. So the latest and greatest, and then as they rotated them out, they could come to us to have to be able to support.
We started getting them at the company I was at because the creative department was where they were starting to use them because, on the creative side, yes, a lot of graphic designers and the traders, the ones in New York doing all the trading for the software we were building, a lot of them were getting MacBooks, and we needed to make sure whatever the hell they were seeing and doing that we could understand. The company didn't want to switch over to iPhones and MacBooks, but they had certain sectors of the employees and the clients, because the traders were the ones footing the bill for our company.
I was going to say that's
are using the product, so you kind of have to give in at that point.
When it comes to big dollar things like the traders, for example, that is where, if they want it, they're going to get it. That's where, when it came to the like technology liaisons, like they're asking, oh, we need Macs. If they said that, it's like, well, it's a bad idea. We can tell you why you don't want to do that. We can tell you why it's better to do this. But at the end of the day, if you want a Mac, we're going to get you a Mac. I mean, that's the way it was going to go there.
Nobody's going to tell a hedge fund manager who's making 20 million a year for the company that they can't use a Mac. Much as we like to dictate, IT and network security and policies, we could not tell them they couldn't use what they wanted to use.
Right. But we did have to come up with a secure and safe environment for them to use it in. So
which was a pain in the ass.
Yes.
Like, oh my God, how do we secure these fucking Macs that are out there? The same way that we're securing all the other machines where we have a standard. And going back to the standards, you can't make standards if both have different standards. Then now you need to have 2 different solutions in one network. It's gotten better. It's not as bad as it used to be, but in 2008 it sucked.
Yep, I concur.
Yeah, so at 9 to 5 Mac, Freshie channel, that's going to keep us updated on what's going on in that Apple world. Little Ashton there, Fernando. You're a handsome devil, you.
Nice.
That was good information on why Apple's doing what they're doing here with Gemini, and I agree with him. Some of it might have been like surrender, white flag, and some of it might have just been logical. Like we have other things to focus on. They're going to get the hologram watch, and I saw a hologram ring. They've got other things that they're coming out with, and I don't think they want to worry about like the AI side as much here.
Sure.
So to finish off our AI segment here, this one is I've been talking about this one now for the last week. The idea of cloning yourself AI wise to be able to look like it's you, sound like it's you, feed it a script, some dialogue, and have it be you for content creation, which I know there's going to be conflicting responses there on should you or shouldn't you. Well, whether you should or shouldn't, this you need to see so you understand that you can, and just how good it really is and how potentially useful it can be for content creators. There's no denying that. Some will use this in a positive tool-like way, And of course, being able to do this, there's going to be some bad seeds out there.
Oh, yeah.
But
I mean, they've already replaced or tried to replace or replicate, certain content creators' channels. They just make an AI version of whoever and put clickbait videos out there that are generated by AI, and they try to go from there.
And I have seen some of that already.
Yeah.
And one thing with this particular solution he's going to show you is it looks like they're pretty serious about allowing people to create these avatars. You do need to prove you are you before you can make a clone of you. And if you go trying to clone somebody else, they're watching out for that. So anybody who thinks like, oh, I'm going to go and become this famous YouTube star on my own channel, this AI may not let you do that.
Interesting.
Yeah, this is coming from @Sebastian Jeffries, Freshie channel, and glad to get him in here on this, because with this particular topic and what this tutorial shows, very easy to follow. He does this in 10 minutes, and it's impressive what he pulls off. I'm definitely going to be checking this out because I've got some experiments to do on some projects that I'm working on, and this is perfect for doing some of the things that need to get done.
Nice.
So, @Sebastian Jeffries is going to talk about HeyGen, that is the AI platform. And he's going to walk you through like what it takes to create your own avatar. It looks like him. It talks like him. And most impressively, it moves like him. So if I want to make an AI and I want it to do this and the way that I talk, this shit does that.
Nice. Got to talk with the hands.
Well, it makes it more natural.
So this is my digital twin, and it looks like me, talks like me, and even moves like me. Now what's crazy is I can talk in any language I want. Now that was pretty cool, right? Now I'm not going to waste your time. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can create your very own realistic AI avatar like mine in under 10 minutes. Now this is crazy because now you can completely automate your content, and I did this 4 months ago on my second Instagram channel that now has over 80,000 followers. And the perks of this is you unlock an entirely new income stream that you can completely autopilot. Now quickly, before jumping into it all, if you are new to AI and want to learn how to use all the best tools to create content for yourself or your brand, or you just want to stay ahead of the curve, then be sure to check out my AI community down below. But with all that said, let's go ahead and jump right into it. So first things first, you want to head over to HeyGen's website and sign in. Now, if you don't have an account already, you can actually go ahead and start this on their free plan, which is awesome. So I'll leave a link to that in the description down below. Now, once you're logged in, you want to go ahead and tap on Avatar. Now, you'll be able to click on Create New, and it's going to give you two different options. Start from a video or start from a photo. Now, I do want to go ahead and show you both options because both are really, really good. So let's go ahead and start with the video option, which is the most realistic. So we're going to go ahead and click on Start from Video. You're going to be on this page, which is going to give you a little bit of a demo on how you can go ahead and do it. But we're going to go ahead and click on Get Started. Now, a few instructions when you actually go ahead and film your video. Make sure you're using the right equipment and submit a 2 to 5 minute long video. I've done 3 minutes, I've done 4 minutes, I've done 5 minutes. They're all really good as long as it's over 2 minutes. Make sure you have a good environment. So for instance, this video right here, it's got a nice background and it's lit correctly. You also want to make sure that you're speaking in a natural and clear tone. Make sure you're also using a good audio because good audio is very important. Now, if you want to have an engaging AI avatar, make sure that you're doing correct hand movements. And once you've done that, you're pretty much good to go. So you go ahead and click on Next. From here, you can go ahead and either record a video on your phone, record via webcam, or just upload your footage. So you're going to get the best avatars by uploading your own footage. So I'm going to go ahead and upload this one. This one is 3 minutes long. Give it a quick preview. You can see it's just me talking like I'm doing a standard YouTube video, and make sure that you have good pauses. So for instance, don't talk like I'm talking right now. Make sure that you do a proper sentence and then do a little pause, and then you can start your next sentence. So that just means that it basically analyzes your footage better, so it's not always going all over the place. Now, you do have a few more options here. You can remove the background noise, you can add an AI background remover, and you can have 4K resolution. Because I'm using a studio quality microphone, I don't need the remove background noise, but this is completely up to you. The AI background remover is actually a really nice feature to have, because let's say you wanted to green screen yourself, the option is there. Once you've done that, go ahead and click on next. Then you just need to verify your avatar. So this is the first time you're doing it. You'll need to submit a second video, which you can just do on your phone or on your webcam. It's basically just going to make sure that you are who you say you are. So it just basically allows you not to create avatars of other people, basically. Now, I've already got mine, so I can go ahead and skip this step. So click on next. Now it's basically just going to analyze all of this and tell you if your video is good. Now, you don't have to wait for this to submit if you don't want to, but it's always good to do it just so you can see that everything is ticked. And if there's something with an X, then you can probably improve it on your next avatar. But we're going to go ahead and click on submit. And as you can see, our video is now uploading. Now, while our avatar is generating, let's go ahead and make our photo one so you can compare both of them and see why it's good to have both. So head back to your avatar, and this time we're going to click on my face, create new, and then start from a photo. Now, you can either upload a realistic photo of yourself or you can design one with AI, but because we're going for the realistic look, we're going to upload a photo. So I'm going to head to my downloads, drag that in, and boom. You can also see a good example of what good photos look like, as well as bad photos. Once you're ready, click on upload, and this is going to start creating your avatar. And voila, it's that simple. So now our avatars are ready, let's go ahead and create some videos. So let's go ahead and create our avatars. So we're going to select the one that we've just created, which is this one. You'll see that it also pops up with a bit of a demo of what your avatar is actually going to look like. So we're going to go ahead and create a video. So you select create with AI Studio, and now this is going to bring it into the editor. Now there's two ways you can actually go ahead and create your avatar, and that's with text or audio. So if you wanted to just type something out just like this, like, hey, my name is Seb, and today we're going to do a tutorial on HeyGen avatars, it's basically going to use the audio that we provided in the sample video and then try and clone that to then replicate our voice. Now, this is pretty good and it will do the job, but I personally prefer using my own audio. But for the sake of showing you what it looks like, we're going to use the text, and then I'm going to show you the audio option, and then you can see a side-by-side comparison. But genuinely, they both are really good, and you can use either option. Now, before you go ahead and generate your video, you have a few more options here. You have AI background, so if you did select that, you can basically just click on remove. It's going to start applying the effect, and boom, it's already done it. And if you wanted, you could add a color, or to go even further, you could then click on customize, which has a bunch of stock images, or you can upload your own images to create a background. So this is what it looks like. But because we already have a nice background, we're going to leave it as it is. Here you can change your layout, circle or close up. And then if you wanted to add a border, you could do it like this. But we're going to be using the full layout. Now, the most important part here is your avatar 4, which is inside of Motion Engine. So Avatar 4 creates the most realistic avatars, but then the unlimited version is a slightly lower quality one. However, you do get unlimited usage inside of your plan, which is amazing. But both options are great. And again, I'm going to show you a side-by-side comparison of Avatar 4 as well as Unlimited, just so you can see. So we're going to go ahead and click on Generate. Hey, my name is Seb, and right now we're testing what text to video. So this is what I sound like and look like. And now what we're going to go ahead and do is use our own voice. So if we go ahead and remove the text, this time we're going to click on audio, then upload audio, and then I've already uploaded it here. So we're going to select it, click on add audio. Then you're going to see it's going to start transcribing it. So here we're saying, this is my digital twin, and it looks like me, talks like me, and even moves like me. And now what's crazy is I can talk in any language. So if I go ahead and click on it, generate, that's going to start running in the background. However, you do have a few more options. Like I say here, I can talk in any language I want. In order to do this, all I have to do is click on translate. Now from here, I can select my target language. So let's say I want to speak in French. I can click that, and then we can leave the translate script and translate text on canvas. Just leave it as it is, then click translate as a new draft. Now once this is done, then you want to go ahead and click on voice. If you don't see this page, then you can just click up here and it will pop this open. go on voice, and then here we've got our original accent, and then here we can select all of these languages. So because we said we're going to do French, let's go ahead and type in French. Click down here, and then we can do French France. Go ahead and click on that, and then your French voice will be applied. Now, before we hit generate, I do also want to show you a few more features inside of 11 Labs. Your scene is where you're going to be doing most of your stuff, and again, make sure you have Avatar 4 selected, but then you do have a few AI features like a script writer, motion designer, image generator, and video generator. Now, what's cool about this is you can basically just type in whatever you want. So cat flying in space. And from here, you can go ahead and select whichever image model you want. So we'll go with Nano Banana, click on generate, and in just a few seconds, you'll get an image just like this. Now, what's really cool about this is that you can edit your video inside of HeyGen, and then you can finish it off in whichever editor you want, or you could just do it all inside of HeyGen, which is awesome. You have a few more options down here like media, so you can just drag in stock images or videos or upload your own. And then here you have elements. So again, if you wanted to add a square, for example, and then you wanted to add some text, you could add all of that inside and then just edit your video again, all inside of HeyGen. You have a few options to add music right here, and again, and you can upload your own. Here you've got captions, so this basically just adds some dynamic captions to your video. So we go ahead and click on play. You can see that it's in sync with whatever I'm saying. Finally, you have a few templates here. So if you're creating for a specific theme or brand, then you can go ahead and replace the scene just like that. But in this time, you go ahead and click on change avatar, go to my avatars, Seb, and then we have to go ahead and find the new one that we created, which is this one right here. And then boom, we can go ahead and remove the background and then resize it. And then you can see that we've edited our video just like that. Now, because we want to keep this as consistent as possible to show you the examples, we're going to remove everything, and then we're going to go ahead and generate our video. So this is my digital twin, and it looks like me, talks like me, and even moves like me. Now, what's crazy is I can talk in any language I want. Now, to generate avatars of the images that you've used, it's the exact same process. So make sure that you're under avatars, then we're going to go ahead and select the photo, which is this one right here. Then we can click on create with AI Studio. And again, the process is the exact same. You can either type out what you want, but in order to use your voice, you do need to make sure you have already added your voice inside of HeyGen. But again, you could just upload your audio, but because we have a bunch of different templates of my avatar, I already have my voice inside of here. So we could just say, hey, my name is Seb again, or what we could do is just basically just add the audio like we did before, boom, click add audio, and then we can go ahead and hit on generate. Now, you do also have the exact same option to choose between Avatar 4 and Unlimited. So we're going to do a comparison of 4 and Unlimited just so you can also see what those look like. Okay, so now all of our avatars have finished generating. We can give them a preview. So we're going to start off with the video ones. And first up, we're going to be using the text to video. So this is what it sounds like and looks like. Hey, my name is Seb, and right now we're testing what text to video. So this is what I sound like and look like. This next version is going to be the Avatar 4 using my own audio clip. And now on screen, you're seeing the same one using the audio, but this time we're using Avatar 4 on the left and then the Unlimited avatar on the right. And as you can see, they all look really, really good. It's actually crazy impressive how realistic they look. So now we're going to do a comparison of the photo versions. So here we have a photo of me, and this is using the Avatar 4 model. And then on the right, it's going to be using the Unlimited version. So this is my digital twin, and it looks like me, talks like me, and even moves like me. And there you have it. That's how you create your very own realistic AI avatars in minutes. Now, I hope you found this helpful, and if you did, then smash the like button and subscribe for more awesome AI updates just like this. And again, if you want to learn how to master all the best AI tools, then be sure to check out my AI community down below. I'll see you in the next one.
Crazy.
Yeah, well, I'm like Jeff. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I think on those side-by-side examples, I think the Avatar 4 example is a little better, a little crisp. Slightly. Like it almost looked like the one on the Unlimited one was like a little bit delayed, almost a little latency almost on it, but hard to tell. But I was like focusing, and the one on the left looked very, very synced and very impressive.
Considering that you get unlimited lip syncing like that with the unlimited, the difference, it is a small difference, but they're both equally impressive.
Yeah, very impressive. Yeah.
And the voice cloning was the part. Like I get why he prefers to use his own voice. It definitely is going to be more natural if you give it your own audio dialogue.
Mhm.
But the fact that it does as good as it does with the voice cloning, those who don't want to sit there and record their voice like dialogue can actually do text to speech with their voice pretty damn good with that.
Yeah. And even like, as you would with recording, if it was a guitar part, you could always go in and like you find those couple of spots where like the words don't sound quite right. And you could just, re-record or like work on those little spots to make it, smoother or make it, sound more.
Kevin hit on my one complaint too.
That's what I
wanted to see that fucking clip.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to test it myself because I can speak French.
Yeah. Well, one thing I will say is I don't know about the accent, but as far as the translation, like a lot of times translation is a little bit too literal sometimes. So like, because of the fact that the words are in different order in French than they would be in English and all that kind of thing, there's nuance to how it'll translate. So we'll have to see how that works out.
Yeah, and the interesting thing from what I saw from the translation options is you can give the foreign language a base accent. So you can sound, I guess, like French, like you're coming from Parisian France, or you can sound like French, like you're an American speaking French. And
Right.
I definitely am going to play around with that to see how that works. It was the one thing that I was waiting for in there because, like, he said, I can translate it. And I was like, oh, I
Here
can't wait
comes.
to see this. I don't need my money back, Sebastian. I'm happy with what you showed me. I really would have loved to have seen that.
Yeah, exactly. Just to hear it, just to see how it does, with the, again, the enunciation, the accent, all of that.
Jeff, I don't know if we'll be able to turn Glenn into one. He's too big.
Too big. I do not fit. And he get too low. We'll be replaced by avatars. Uh-oh.
That's actually the thing because I've tried to clone your voice before with the 11 Labs, and it did okay. Like
it was all right.
you read Edgar Allan Poe and you sounded authentic, but I'm curious if I can get the same results along with a video. Definitely going to be playing with this.
Yeah. Not to mention the fact that we've got many years worth of video clips to feed it of me talking on video. So we've got the source material.
I got plenty.
No problem. But the question is, can it move the hands the right way and look convincing?
And that's actually when, especially, I like that he showed the different examples from different doing it with a video, doing it from a picture, seeing what the results look like, and the gestures. When he said, you programming it, getting it to learn you, giving it 2 to 5 minutes where you talk naturally. I can take this video and do what I'm doing for 2 to 5 minutes, and it'll realize like my gestures.
As long as you pause at the end of your sentences, give it time to digest, and don't go crazy with your gestures. Not a lot of that.
Yeah, and yes, Jeff, I will cross my arms during the example because I need that.
Defensive blocking.
Very useful information. A lot of these AI tutorials, I come across a ton of them, and a lot of them they kind of fly past me. They go too quick. They don't necessarily walk you through properly. He did a great job with this one. This one sold me on. I'm gonna try.
Absolutely, well done.
Yeah, and again, Tool or Takeover.
This leans towards Tool.
And it also has the possibilities of takeover. Some channels we are seeing more and more YouTube channels that are AI driven, and at least if they're using something like this, there's a human element to it, that hopefully stays intact. I hate some of the AI channels that I'm coming across where it just feels flat and dry, and there isn't those hand gestures, there isn't the like emphasis and kinds of things that make it feel like it's a human behind that screen.
Where's the humans? Bring back the humans.
I'm only human. Thank you, Sebastian. That tip is going to be super useful for some of the things I'm working on. You have no idea. At Sebastian Jeffries, and also check out his website, sebtips.kit.com. He extends on these tips and tricks there.
Nice. Good channel.
Yeah. So, hardware gear review for our end of the show. We've got two things here that we're going to look at. Well, one's hardware and the other one's going to fit our gaming itch. But this drum set, when I saw it and I saw how compact it was, and I'm thinking, like, for those students and the drummers that are on the road, or they want to be able to like practice while they're someplace and be able to bring their kit with them. This is one of the coolest solutions that I've seen yet, and you're not going to believe the price.
Nice. That's what I like to hear.
It's the thing that sold me on it. I was like, oh my God, I already liked the design. Even if it was twice as much, I would have still been like, this is cool. But very cost efficient. For those student drummers out there who, in the old days just had a little practice block to play with while they were, on a band like road trip. This is
You play on the hat on the guy in front of you.
Yeah. Yeah. And CamiLoops.official, at CamiLoops.official over on YouTube. She gives a great demonstration of this. She's a drum teacher, and she's got to recognize how useful this is for those drum students. Wish I'd had her as my teacher. Like, tell me about gear like this. And she's got all sorts of technique videos, drummers that are wanting to learn different techniques and things. Check her out. She's got drum teaching resource here. And this is about a kit, Lekato electronic drum set. The fact that it's an electronic set, I'm not going to give away the price. I'm going to let her do it. But the fact that like it's an electronic set like this and is versatile. You've got there's a couple of cymbals hiding up above these pads, three of them, I think. And I don't know how the foot action is. We'll have to see what she says about that on the foot side. But as far as what you get in front of you, it's got a lot of versatility.
Nice. I like it.
Gear whores.
This is super, super cool. Can you believe this entire drum set fits in one bag? I had the opportunity to try this very portable drum set, and I'm really excited to share it.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
I'm Cammy, and this is
Jillian.
Today, we're gonna unbox this amazing new portable drum set.
Yeah, let's go.
This kit is only $186.29, but it's perfect.
So it comes in one bag, so everything's in here.
So here I am quickly unboxing it. It comes with cymbal arms, cables, drumsticks, and yeah, let's just continue to go through it. Make sure you read the manual.
Wow. This is it. So it looks like it's one unit, and yeah, let's set it up. So when you flip it around, the brain is behind it, and then you have these cymbal pads. I'm guessing these are for the hi-hat, the cymbals. This is packaged very well, and everything you need is kind of nicely put together. So, of course, took some pictures with it. Take a look at the brain. This is what everything is plugged into. And here's little baby boy. He's back to help me finish setting it up. And very soon we will start playing it. So just getting the cymbal arms out, the cymbals and the hi-hat. You don't need a drum key, and it's super cool that it comes with one. That's the power. So make sure everything is kind of screwed down. There's rubber between everything, which is really nice. They really thought this out because you can have cross triggers and stuff like that. So this is great. This is where the module, the brain, is going to be mounted. And as you can see, I needed to check the directions because I'm like, is it mounted above or below? But read the directions, figured it out. It goes below, and the screws go in on top. So after you get it all set up, you'll need to put it on some type of stand or table. Get it locked in. All the cables get plugged into the drums and the cymbals. And boom, here I am. I am really impressed, and I had a lot of fun playing this kit. It feels nice. I love that the hi-hat and cymbals are slightly above, and it's so compact, but yet it feels like I'm playing a normal kit, and I love that. I'm sure a major concern for a lot of people are the pedals, and you can also just get a kick pedal and add that on if you want. If you're thinking about getting this kit for a smaller child, here's what it looks like. My son is 4 years old, almost 5, and he's playing it. I'm using a snare stand, lowered that down, and it worked perfectly. The pedals, I'm impressed with them, honestly. No double triggers, and yeah, it was super cool to try this kit out. If you're thinking about getting it, I highly recommend it. If you're wondering where to purchase this kit, head over to Amazon. They have lots of these available. I think this is the perfect kit to jumpstart drumming and learning this amazing instrument. This kit comes with built-in songs to play along with, metronome, and really everything you need to start drumming today. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Please feel free to like and subscribe. I hope you all have a wonderful day. God bless. Music is the universal language, and I quickly learned that while I was serving in the United States Navy. We could not speak the same language, but put a smile on someone's face by playing the drums. I make music to spread joy.
Nice.
Oh, I like Kimmy.
Spreading joy. Gotta love it.
Hell yeah, she's in it for the right reason. And I love that she gave it the kid demo.
Yep.
When I saw it, I was like, every kid should get one of these. It's better than pots and pans.
Oh yeah, and the bubble wrap in the box became like bigger hits than the whole thing right off the bat. So you know he's in it. He's in for it right there. Boom.
Oh, he's lucky because Mom's got some cool toys in her drum arsenal. I saw some of those other ones, and
and he's already got some good timing, so he's on his way.
Yeah, she's a great one to review these kinds of things. That's the kind of it's like that portable guitar that we looked at back during the summer, like something that's small, compact, you can just take out and like go sit on a park bench and make noise. And I don't know what the power requirements were here, but if a plug is all you need,
that's what it looked like. Yeah, single power to the brain unit, and then the brain unit has all the connections to the other parts.
Yeah. For like those bands that like to go play on the beach, those kinds of situations, and we've seen the box where it doesn't take power and it can do some drums, but if you do happen to have a plug nearby and you got one of those boxes and you got one of these, you actually got a pretty functional percussion.
Yeah, absolutely. I like the fact that it looked like it was well built, and like she said, with the rubber in between the parts and all that, it looks like it was well thought out, at least.
Yeah. Yeah. The one thing I guess if you're a bigger drummer and you're used to playing like more spread out, you might have to like reprogram yourself a little bit for the tight constraints, but that's also what makes it like super portable.
I also think that it's helpful in terms of they are small targets. So like all those moves that she's doing, like brrr, when you're going around those rolls and all that, you're having to hit very specific targets, and I think that's good because that is improving your accuracy. So when you do translate that onto a real kit, if the drum heads are if the drums are placed in those positions, you'll have no problem translating.
Yeah, and what Wild hits on exactly what I was thinking. MIDI drums. Like the reason I want it would be because I want to be able to trigger MIDI drums and trigger like these kick-ass drum samples that I have in a more natural way without having to do it on a keyboard or like little blocks. And
It definitely feels more natural doing it this way. Yeah.
well, I'd like to get comfortable with stick action, and I feel like if I could practice with it for a while, I could actually do it with sticks.
Oh yeah, it doesn't take long. And even without having sticks, without having a drum kit in the house, just start with the hands on your legs and your feet, right? Like if you just listening
I
to a
already
song,
do.
you try to get the foot going with the kick, and you try to get the hands going so that what would I be hitting? You're like, the right hand is going to be hitting the hi hat. Okay, the left hand is going to be hitting the snare.
Oh,
Okay, and like
hell,
you just work your way around like that.
yeah. My knee playing, I can do double bass actually
Yeah.
while I'm doing my knee playing. I'm
nice.
Good that way. I just can't make it make noise.
Yeah. But just getting the limbs going and associating each limb to the sound that you want to have going over there and making sure you understand where the rolls are happening and how they're, all that kind of stuff. To me, the biggest thing was every time
Kev
I heard
says the pedals wouldn't make it through a Metallica song. You're
Oh,
probably
no,
not
probably not.
wrong, but at the same time, as long as the pedals serve the purpose for a student drummer, for someone who's just starting out, which is I think what her main point was. This
Right.
is a good starting
Mhm.
kit for someone who's might become a drummer.
Yeah, if you're
I'm
playing a
thinking
Metallica song, you're already up. You're already on your way on that. You already have a drum kit or two at the house.
I would like to see Lars actually test it.
Yeah. There you go.
That would be the ultimate test.
Sure.
All right. Well, that I'm glad I got that one in here. I really wanted to get that in last week, but fitting it with the AI didn't work. Perfect for our little hardware segment here. Thank you, Cami, at CamiLoops.official.
Very cool.
And to finish things off, and we also have a sneak preview. The movie that me and Ange have been working on with Samuel Schmucker, over at Schmucker Productions. It's the final countdown.
Nice.
We've got some trailers that we're going to be rolling out, and I'm going to be showing our first trailer on that. But before we do that, West Nemo, he got a leak, a sneak peek on GTA 6, Grand Theft Auto 6. I think the most anticipated game coming out this year. Long time coming in development, and we're going to actually see some of the gameplay and footage. A lot of people have been wanting to see this, and at West Nemo is going to hook us up with a little preview here of what we can expect to see in this monster of a game.
Nice.
Don't know how much space it's going to take up, but it's a good thing you got this new hard drive because this thing's probably going to take up at least a couple hundred gigs. If it
Wouldn't surprise me a bit.
Like it looks here.
It's usually a pretty sprawling game for sure.
Let's sprawl through this, and I know it's going to get Jason's mouth watering. He's been waiting for this one since before last year.
Nice.
GTA 6 just got some huge news. The game roll leak was indeed real. For months, we have been debating, debunking, and arguing whether or not the massive list of features that dropped a while back from leaker game roll were real or not. We all thought it was too detailed to be true. We thought the 700 interable interiors was a pipe dream. Well, today what we have is effectively confirmation that this information is legitimate, at least at the time of the leak. Rockstar Games just admitted to firing multiple developers across the globe, specifically for leaking confidential information that aligns perfectly with the timeline of these reports. We're talking everything from the return of the 6-star wanted level to the revolutionary dual protagonist mode that lets you control both characters at the same time. And unfortunately, we're talking about some beloved features that have reportedly been cut from the game. So we're going to break it all down, guys. We have a lot to cover, so check the chapters for easy viewing and let's dive in. So first things first, we have to establish why we are taking this leak seriously now. Usually leaks are just like, you know, trust me bro moments, but this time we have receipts from Rockstar Games themselves. A new report from Ben over at Videotech UK has highlighted a specific legal disclosure from Rockstar, which they pointed to their zero tolerance approach to leaks and confirmed 3 separate high-profile firings. And to quote, Rockstar dismissed an employee in Lincoln, UK in April 2025 who allegedly disclosed confidential information about GTA 6 to a third party, and dismissed an employee in the US in November 2023 and another one in India in November 2025. Now the timing here is really everything. The November 2023 firing aligns with the first major trailer leaks, but the April 2025 firing in the UK, well, that kind of lines up perfectly with when the game roll information started to circulate in private Discord servers before hitting the public. Now we have to be real here. Rockstar doesn't fire people just for making up fan fiction. They fire people for breaking NDAs and revealing trade secrets. The fact that they fired these people and they cited the dismissals as like proof of their security measures tells us that the information that they leaked out was real or accurate, or at least damaging enough to cost people their careers. Now, it just so happens that Rockstar is dealing with a legal battle against a union, and that's why this information came out. So it could be that they're citing these, you know, quote unquote leaks, or this now what seems to be legitimate leaks, as a reason for dismissal so that they can kind of pin the firing on the leaks rather than wrongful termination lawsuits. It's essentially killing the union's leverage because no union can legally protect an employer who is proven to have stolen company data, or in this case, leaking company data. So there's definitely a greater play happening here, but I do think that, you know, them leaking this information, I mean, it got out there somehow, and if Rockstar is citing it that these firings are because of the leaks, then I have reason to believe them. At the end of the day, look at Rockstar and, you know, the whole GTA 6, I guess we'll say, story. Like, this game started off with the big, massive leak of Rockstar that happened, I think, in like 2021, where we got to see footage of this game. So they've been dealing with leaks from the get-go, essentially. So what exactly did they leak? Let's start off by talking about the gameplay portion, because there are some massive returns to form here. The big feature, obviously, is the 6-star wanted levels returning, which this is really exciting. Like, we haven't seen 6 stars since GTA 4, and GTA 5 stars was the max, which I guess it made sense because it was GTA 5. And with this game being GTA 6, it only makes sense for them to bring back the 6-star wanted level, which implies that we're going to be seeing an escalation that we haven't seen in years. Are we talking tanks that are going to be deployed? What are we talking about? Maybe National Guard locking down the entire state of Leonida? Either way, it suggests that the police AI is going to be far more aggressive and tactical, and that's the part that I'm most excited about. Now, in the leak, there is also the relationship bar. We saw hints of this in the 2022 alpha footage, but Game Roll confirms it is a core mechanic that works like the honor system in Red Dead Redemption 2. This isn't just quote-unquote romance. This likely affects how Jason and Lucia interact in combat. If your relationship is high, maybe they share ammo or cover each other better. If it's low, maybe they start like arguing during mid gunfights or refuse to help. Either way, it adds like another layer of RPG management to the overall chaos that we're expecting to get. Now, for the immersion lovers, the weight mechanics are back. Just like San Andreas and Red Dead 2, your character's physique will change based on diet and exercise. This is the kind of detail that only Rockstar bothers with. If you want a ripped Jason, you're gonna have to hit the gym, and same goes for Lucia. The next leak that we have to talk about is probably one that is the most genre defining, and the leak details the character wheel. We know we can switch between Jason and Lucia respectively, but the leak also specifies there are 3 distinct options. There's solo Jason, there's solo Lucia, and then there is dual protagonist control, which the dual protagonist mode is the game changer. The leak says Jason and Lucia can be controlled at the same time to rob together in the open world. Some missions are also started using the 2 of them at once. So for instance, like imagine walking into a liquor store, you press a button, and instead of the AI standing there, you are commanding both of them. You tell Jason to hold the, clerk at gunpoint while you control Lucia emptying the register. Or maybe you have like Lucia drive the getaway car while you're controlling Jason shooting out the window. Which, if this does work seamlessly in the free mode, it is the biggest innovation in open world that we've seen since GTA 5 introduced the character switching. However, there are some controversies in the combat mechanics. The leak mentions a Deadeye-like ability, mainly for Jason, that slows down time and it like reveals weak spots. Which that does sound great, but for Lucia, the source says that she can do that as well, but it's only for 1 shot. The source of the leak explicitly noted that this mechanic is apparently super bad and they hope it gets changed, but it's meant to show that Jason is a better shot because of his army background, while Lucia is more of like the street brawler. Now let's shift focus to the world of Leonida. This right here is where the leak gets ambitious to the point of almost disbelief. Back in the day when I read this for the first time, I was like, there's no way that this is going to happen. And that is, the leak claims that there are 700 enterable shops and interiors in GTA 6. Yeah, I'm gonna say it again, 700 enterable interiors. In most open world games, you're lucky to get like 50 of them, which if this is true, it means that almost every strip mall, every gas station, and major building is accessible. We're talking skyscrapers. You're likely actually gonna be able to explore enterable shopping malls with working elevators, even though I don't know how significant a shopping mall would get, because are there even shopping malls nowadays? But either way, this solves one of the biggest issues that I had with GTA 5, where essentially the entire game felt like a facade, where you had all these buildings, but not many of them you could actually get into. Now, if you watch my last video where I discussed the GTA 6 mapping project, the game rule leak also states no panhandle. It claims that the map is an island and lacks the northern extension that many fans are hoping for, which if this is true, this means the map will be more, circular or oval shape rather than the boot shape of real Florida. So not only did, this leak talk about the panhandle not actually existing, but also the mapping project corroborates that as well. And that's based on like, evidence and stuff from the, videos and screenshots and leaks we've seen. Also confirmed is the explorable underwater areas with treasure and secrets, which in terms of the open world, with this being a Florida type game, I was hoping that we would get more ocean activities. So if that is indeed real, that's exciting news. Now the leak then talks about some content that is not in the game, which this is going to be a tough pill to swallow, but take your pills, pilots. First and foremost, we have dual wielding is not in the game. This right here is a massive disappointment. We had dual wielding in San Andreas, we had it in like Max Payne 3, and the idea of running around Vice City with 2 Mac 10s felt like a given. So if that's not going to happen, then that is a massive L in my opinion. Now it could mean that they're, trying to prioritize a more realistic inventory system where you have to physically hold the weapon, similar to Red Dead Redemption 2. But again, it's GTA 6. I was hoping for something cool like that. Now the next thing that is cut, or rather non-existent, is prone. You cannot lay on the ground, which this is a, small thing, but for stealth and sniper gameplay, being able to go prone would be huge. But they're also likely doing this for the PvP implications. This is a GTA game at the end of the day, and if you can just like, lay in tall grass and snipe somebody from forever away, it might be a bit overpowered. Now the next one is no Disney World parody. This one is a bit surprising. I was hoping we would get like, Magic Land or something like that, but the leak says it's not happening. Next up, the burglary mini game that was the staple of San Andreas will not be featured in GTA 6. Which just feels like a missed opportunity given the focus on robbery with Jason and Lucia and the Bonnie and Clyde type story. Like, just give me the ability to just do like petty robbery in neighborhoods. Like, that would be so funny. Granted, it would have to, require a lot more enterable buildings, but either way, it is what it is. Now, before we wrap up, I want to touch on the timeline just a bit, because this right here is the other half of the puzzle. We've had a lot of doom and gloom about delays. We had one recently, but we just got a vote of confidence from the most reliable name in journalism, and that is Jason Schreier. Jason Schreier recently went on record stating that GTA 6 wasn't content ready yet, meaning they're still building the world and the missions and still doing motion capture work. But despite that, he now feels significantly more confident in the November 2026 release date than he ever did about 2025. This right here is a huge deal in my opinion. Schreier is not a hype man. If he says the date is solidifying, it means he has inside sources at Rockstar that are seeing the finish line. It also confirms that the delay out of 2025 wasn't a sign of development hell, but rather a calculated move to ensure the game is actually finished. So Schreier is more confident in November than I am as well. But that's gonna wrap it up with this video. Let me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe with the noties on, and until next time, this has been Wes, and I will talk to you guys in the next video.
Oh, great gaming news, Wes.
Gotta
I
get your
like.
game on.
Well, I like the like leak tips. You know, sometimes I don't like things to be spoiled, but damn, we waited a long time on this game, and at this point, a couple of spoilers doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
I can't believe that they're still not complete on the content.
I mean, that is the kind of thing that you're going to keep doing until the last minute, you know? So like when it's, you know, when the content's done, you release it, right? So.
Yeah, it's taking them longer to write this than some movies.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's also, you got to think about all the voice acting that goes into everything and everything else. I mean, if that's, you know, if everything is scripted out like that, we really need that, you know, and that's another place where AI is going to come in, you know, in the future where you don't have to have it all scripted out. It can all, you know, be kind of on the fly.
Yeah, chances are they've started utilizing it in the last couple of years as the options have grown. I do see this as being one of those groundbreaking AI implementations. Some of the things he was talking about there, some of the AI play that you're going against and dealing with could be impressive as hell.
Yeah, for sure. We're getting to that point.
Well, the fact that they waited till like AI has gotten to the point it's at now, if they had released this a couple of years ago, you wouldn't have been able to pull off some of the things that you can now.
A couple of years ago, you wouldn't have had an RTX card either, right?
Yeah, that's the other thing. You're probably gonna need one.
Wouldn't shock me, but love it. Love the game stuff.
Everybody's waiting on that one. It's nice to at least get a leak out there. They're still talking like later this year, much later. So if they start saying 2027, I swear to God, there might be some revolts.
Yeah, it's revolting.
Yeah. I did like that at West Nemo gaming resource. We can add that to our channel of games. And I've got one more thing.
Alrighty.
Look me around. And some who you know come in and who are in the back sometimes in the Zoom know you know, we've been working on a movie kind of off of the Stephen King's It. This one in particular goes back to the original It, the 1990s storyline, and it's been getting a lot of attention with Welcome to Derry and these other things that we've seen you know, over the year. It was real fun to work on this while I was soaking up that series, and I went through all the It movies and content. The one thing I haven't done is go back to the book yet, but I'm going to be doing that soon. And we've got our first trailer that we released, and we'll be releasing a preview next weekend, and then subsequent trailers every 2 weeks, along with previews. Ange wants people to guess the release date. Anybody who can guess it might get a sneak preview before the release date. If you can actually pick when we will be announcing that next weekend. But if you can do it before then you might be able to see it early.
Nice.
But this is this is our first trailer to introduce Georgie's return.
All right.
"68 years ago, 7 kids in a small town faced something no child should ever see. A creature older than stories, older than fear itself. It took their friend Georgie first, and it didn't stop there. Those 7 kids, the losers, they stood together. They fought back, and 27 years later, as adults, they've returned to finish what began in the rain-soaked streets the day Georgie died. They defeated the entity, or so they believe. Here's the thing about ancient horrors. They don't stay gone. And neither, it seems, does Georgie. A shadow in the storm drain. A voice whispering, "You'll float too." A yellow raincoat where no child should be. Somehow, impossibly, he's come back. And it ain't clowning around.
Georgie's clowns are here.
So now my question to you is, have you read the book? Then you know what comes next. And this time, it's Georgie's return.
Georgie's in charge now.
Oh, we got a new boss.
Nice. Georgie.
And it ain't clowning around.
No clowning here.
Oh, and I can thank Ange for that tagline. She came up with that along the process. It was one of those things that just happened organically.
Nice.
But
Well done.
It's going to be a fun one. Lot of work went into it. Ange is our pro narrator, and it's a hell of a story.
Excellent. I look forward to seeing the whole thing.
Yep. And if you can guess the date before next weekend, where we'll be announcing the release date and showing a little preview, you could get a sneak preview.
Nice. Act now.
I might give you one just because I like you, but
I'm lucky like that.
You're influential.
All good. That's what we get here on Thursdays.
Yeah. Teases, trailers.
And some IT shh.
And like the AI will be back all year. This one's going to be a reoccurring topic.
Absolutely. Have to see it some more next time.
Yep. So we'll see you next Thursday with some more IT.
Thanks, everybody.
Night.
We cover digital audio workstations and music tools. We explore theory, gear, and 82. How to arrange, compose, and the art of arranging. Taking a look at AI and how the times have changed. On a PC or a Mac, and even with a mobile device, we'll be talking about it all every Thursday night. From software to plugins and synths that entice. Dive deep into tech and let creativity take flight. Talkin IT. We're talking IT. Come and join in and have some fun. It's highly educational with a lot to learn. From bedroom producers to seasoned pros, we're breaking it down so knowledge grows. Whether you're a DJ or a beat making wizard, we got the tips tips and tricks to make your sound sizzle. Mixing and mastering, that's our jam. With the tutorials and tips on how much rap. Get the best quality from your setup and gear. Tune in every week and lend us your ear. We're talking IT. Come and join in and have some fun. It's highly educational with a lot to learn. We're talking We're talking IT. We're talking